Hey, it's the Bennington Show. I'm Ron Bennington. There's Gail Bennington.
Yo.
And I'm Ron Bennington. That's Whip It from the Sesame Street After School Special. Way of introducing children to, I don't know what the fuck goes on over there, Vito, or... Doesn't matter to me, though. So, we're playing Whip It because of Stranger Things. I will tell you this before we start. I haven't seen Stranger Things yet, nor have I heard a single thing about Stranger Things.
I hope that it maintains that way, that you don't let anything seep in. Because I rushed and watched it all this weekend because I felt like I kept seeing headlines and things and like...
I didn't see one.
I got a news alert that actually came through on my phone like the way breaking news... And it gave away like a plot point. And I was like, I can't deal with this.
Who gave you the news alert? Was it BuzzFeed?
It was not BuzzFeed. I believe it was because I just have like regular news alerts. And then so it's all different sources. So I think it came from Mashable. And it like popped up as though it was like a CNN breaking news. I don't need a pop up of pop culture news.
Well, did you like it?
Okay, this is what I will say. If I gave Stranger Things season 1 an A, which I will say I do, I would give this maybe C plus, B minus. There were aspects of it that were good and even great, but there was like a lot of drop in the ball. I feel a lot.
Well, if you remember when Stranger Things happened, the original idea was going to be a one-off, and that would have been, that would have been fine. Because I thought by the time they got to the end of the season and what the payoff stuff was, it was all so nutty.
Right.
What was really good about Stranger Things is those were really cute kids doing a kind of an 80s movie.
Yes, and that's the stuff that's still strong about this. One of the kids in particular, I would say, had like a breakout performance that was really exceptionally good. But then there's a lot of other elements that just really not good. But it's not easy. It is not easy to follow up from something that nobody knew about it, and then it was like overnight sensation. You didn't know any of those kids.
I'm going to give you another thing. It's simple to do that. It's simple. It's the easiest thing in the world to make a fantastic TV show. So simple. This one was just, somewhat of a money grab. I've also noticed this with Netflix. They are throwing so much money at big comedians, but they want these things fast, that these specials aren't as good as if people were just making the specials. When they're like, hey, my shit's really good right now and I want to start doing some material, let's lock in this special.
Yeah.
No.
Yeah. They're like, they became...
back here at the old comedy place I worked in the 80s. You know what I mean? It's just time and time again where you're like, was this special ready? Is this special because somebody called you up and said, I got a pot of money, get over here real quick. It's like if you have a business and someone says, how long does it take to get those, I've got $1,000. How long does it take me to get a bunch of fucking chocolate eggs? And you're like, well, I make them. It takes 2 weeks. Like, oh, my party's Thursday. I'll have them. I'm making chocolate eggs for the next 24 hours. So, it is what it is. It's the fucking 90s, folks. What are we going to do about it? Fucking... You got Clinton and sex scandals all throughout the news. You got fucking Dallas Cowboys. And they had the White House where they were having their fucking sex parties at. Isn't it funny? Shit like that was like big news, and now you never hear about it again.
Yeah.
They kept a separate house where they had sex with whoas. Big baseball weekend. Very, very exciting baseball weekend. Going back to LA now, but that was great games. Football weekend, your Philadelphia Eagles
staying strong.
Well, there was a very subpar game. If you go to Philly.com, they were calling him the Mortal Wentz. But they played a team that they were supposed to beat, and they beat, and that's what you're supposed to do. I keep another eye on those Patriots, though. They're just, they're winning. Another year that they're like, oh, looks like it's all over. But I stupidly watched the Penn State game, watched them blow that after jumping out to a big league. This is why I don't have time. I don't have time to see the Stranger Things. There's nowhere to work it into my day.
I know.
I had to cancel 2 shows over the weekend. I just can't go out. There's too much sports on TV.
Well, I had that even with Stranger Things, where you get so overwhelmed with the amount of good stuff that I'm like watching Stranger Things. I'm like, over a course of a weekend, 9 episodes, and then I'm just like, I didn't see that Joan Didion documentary.
Unbelievable.
I really want to see it.
It's unbelievable.
Yeah, she's so fantastic, and I love her work. I can't wait to see it.
Griffin Dunn actually directs it and is interacting with her, and her fucking life and time's crazy. You see this, this little old frail woman, and she's like, yeah, the Doors, I loved them. We used to hang out together at my house. You know what I mean?
Yeah, her life is so wild.
Yeah. How does somebody just sit around and write about their life all the time, though? I
know. I
look back and see how short my emails are to people. Some people I know write really great emails. I'm going to just say, Kathleen from the Bronx, she's one of those people, like, she could probably just take her emails and put it into a book. And then I'll just write back to her, sounds cool, Kat. And I'm just like, oh, God, I guess that's all I got. I can't think that way. I don't think in writing. I would love nothing more than to be a writer.
Particularly, some of the work she's done that's just like so gut-wrenching and heartbreak.
Kathleen from the Bronx?
No, Joan Didion.
Oh,
we're talking about Joan Didion.
Said she.
I read The Year of Magical Thinking, and I read Blue Nights as well, which is like the follow-up.
Well,
and it was just like, you're just laid out for a week.
Dude, that's how this thing ends with those 2 books. And there's, her early shit, like the White Album, and I'm trying to think of what the other one, I can't remember what the other one was called, that was about, like, Haight-Ashbury in the 60s. That's all kind of cool, and like, hey, are we going the wrong way here with this? You know what I mean? Like, We're acting like it's peace and love, but is it? And, that shit was all a bunch of right place, right time. Just one of those people that, when you ever think of like, oh, I'd like to be at this place at that, you wanted to be in Paris in the 20s or whatever. She was at the American equivalence of that. But then the stuff that you're talking about is the real, oh, fuck, it sucks getting old.
Yeah.
And I'm just entering the point now that when people I know died, no one is like horrified from. They're like, oh, that's sad, he died too young. But no, like when I was in my 20s, in my 20s, people would be diving through fucking windows.
Right. A huge funeral procession that's the whole town comes out because it's a young guy.
Everyone's screaming at the funeral. And now, you go to a funeral and guys like, hey man, I haven't seen you in years. You still living in New York? You know what I mean? Like, oh, that's not the kind of shit I want to hear. Shouldn't we be devastated? Well, he had some good times, he was a great partier. I remember one time we were at a party together. It was really great. Everybody was partying.
This friend of yours sounds pretty cool.
Paul Manafort indicted today by the FBI on 2,700 different charges. Now, there's a lot of charges, though. And he goes like this, little guys, I got some dinner tickets for everybody. Sit down. There's going to be golf tomorrow for everybody. He was my favorite part of the Trump campaign because he was never upset. And it just seemed like the guy that you would meet in Vegas. You know what I mean? You fellas come out. There's going to be boxing. I mean, believe me, there's no names in it, but it's great boxing. You're going to have a good time. And then here's 2 drink tickets apiece. So, I mean, like, he just has always seemed guilty for the past 40 fucking years. Yeah. You know what I mean? Like, you see this fucking suit I'm wearing right now? It's worth more than your family's house. That's how I'm looking. Right? Look at this watch right here. How much? $17,000 for that watch. Listen, we got Chinese food coming in forever. Don't eat too much right now. Don't fill up. This whole room's going to be filled with Chinese food. The fact that when he, worked for Trump, it just seemed like Trump knew him from the hotel trade,
Yeah.
Look, fellas, I hear some noise. Everybody gets rowdy. Look, I like to yell and potty myself. I'm not going to lie to you. So I don't know what's going to fucking happen with all this. For some reason, I'm expected to follow along as if I had a law degree, but I don't. All right, let's go to some of these phone calls today. 844 Rock God, 844 Rock God. Hey, Vito, I want you to end the show tonight today with a cover song. You know what I mean? I just love it when you pop in a fun cover. Rob, what's up, buddy? Hey, what do you say, Rob?
Yeah, Ronnie B, I guess the fact that Kevin Spacey once had a fiance in Niagara Falls, Ontario, Canada, no longer true.
He had us gone for a long, long time, old Kevin Spacey, but it turns out that he is G-A-Y. And it took a young rapper to bring that out.
Mm-hmm.
Which rap is this?
This is Anthony Rapp, who is the actor, and he's kind of best known for being of that original Rent cast, but he's also done film and but not Adam Rapp, who was his brother, who is a playwright.
He was in Dazed and Confused.
Yes, yeah.
So exactly. He said when he was a kid, Kevin Spacey made a pass at him by throwing him down on a bed and then jumping on top of him. And Kevin Spacey says, I have no recollection of that. I used to drink a bit. By the way, I'm gay. Why, by the way, why is this always all of our business? Why can't,
being gay or not gay, you mean?
No, any of this. Why did that Kevin Spacey did this? Why the rest of us? Why couldn't he call up Kevin Spacey and go Spacey?
I guess the idea is right now is exposing the kind of sexual abuse, harassment, rape that's happening in the industry.
The I knew they were all like this for a long time. The gays. This is why I won't permit a gay teacher to be around my children or a gay sports announcer to be calling my kids' Little League game. Okay, Adam Rapp. Okay, Kevin Spacey. You got us.
Anthony.
Whatever.
Wrong Rapp.
I don't even know who Adam Rapp is.
He's a playwright. He's a famous playwright.
Him up. Yeah.
This is his brother.
Well, there we have it. The dropping a quarter down on Mr. Spacey. Mr. Spacey was like, I brought my mother to the Oscars. She loves them. I did not bring my girlfriend. She has things to do tonight.
Yeah, you kind of have ruined everyone throwing you a nice coming out party. The context was...
It's a little late for anybody to be coming out. It's just done. It's like coming out. Coming out gay now is as exciting if someone came out as straight. It's like some kind of a we're a couple party. I don't give a fuck, really. I don't care who you guys are dating. Oh, you're both happy? Great. I'll be over then. I didn't know that you were happy. Everyone says they're happy, and then later you have to hear when they're unhappy. But this is the new that we all have to find out. And then they were after Adam Sandler put his hand on someone's knee, and that was news all weekend long that he patted someone's knee on a fucking talk show. And you just had people go, how dare he? He's acting like he understands that he has a right to our bodies. So, I don't know. Who gives a fuck anymore?
Yeah, I mean, it certainly is. It's hard when there's just as much press for something like that as there is for the Kevin Spacey story, as there is for, right, the Harvey Weinstein.
Right. We're just like the Harvey Weinstein story's dead, so let's look around for every single thing that we can do now. Hey, David in Texas.
Hey, Ronnie. I never get to listen to the show live. I couldn't wait till tomorrow. I wanted to call and find out what you thought about that game last night. And I'm also hoping this family's still pulling for the Dodgers.
Well, we're going back to L.A. with this. Both teams have just played crazy. I thought the first 4.5 hours of the game were a little slow. But that last half hour, there's not enough that you could say about this series. It's just a blast. Is it disappointing there's no Yankees? Only for the people in New York. People in New York, I don't care anymore.
Yeah, but if you're a baseball fan, you've been getting to see great baseball.
I would also say this. You don't even have to be a baseball fan. It's the World Series. It comes around once.
Yeah, I don't regularly watch baseball, but I watched last night, and I was like, God, it was a really exciting game.
I watch the Daytona 500 every year because it's the Daytona 500. There's no reason for it. I don't give a... But I feel like this is part of the traditions. It's just like you got Halloween coming up. You can't be like, oh, some kids knocked at my door. I didn't have any candy. No, you got to have some Butterfingers. Can I just say this? If you do full-size candy bars, the whole neighborhood's going to love you and talk about you.
It's a very big deal.
That was just average when I was a child. No one handed out any minis. That house would have been fucking skunked.
I only lived in a world where there were minis. I mean, I don't even remember any of my neighbors going full size.
I don't know what happened there for a while. I think we were worried about the children getting diabetes. Here's some diabetes.
Children's diabetes.
I was out at the stand, so I was hanging out on the streets Saturday night. And the number of sexy cats that I happened to have walked into.
Meow, meow, I'm sexy. Meow, meow.
All these, to me, they're college girls, but I guess they're not. They look all so young. I mean, I don't know why you're dressing up sexy if there's 5 of you and not one of you has a man. You know what I mean? Like at this point, you're fucking 23, 24 years old. You shouldn't be primping it and selling it. You should have already been fucking linked if that's the purpose of all.
And when you are young and in college and you put on a sexy costume and your hope is like, maybe I'll go home with someone tonight and that'll be fun. But when you hit a certain age, those aren't the guys you want to pick up anyway. You're right at the age where you're like, I need to find somebody who's going to stick around.
I got plowed by a dude bro last night. It was so exciting. Yeah.
Still single, but
he's a 2-pump Johnny, but quite the abs. I was out with Kevin Spacey. He backed me into a corner and then threw me on an ottoman.
Oh no!
And he yelled out, "Who wants to take a ride on Space Mountain?"
That's not good.
And I didn't want to embarrass him or humiliate him by saying anything wrong. So I just went, me? Meow, 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 me.
You were dressed as a sexy cat?
No, that's the odd thing.
That's strange.
I was dressed as Jack Nicholson from that movie where he drove a Winnebago across the country. There's no name to this. It's the only Jack Nicholson movie that doesn't have a name. That's why he didn't do well at the box office. But he drove a Winnebago around and he was old. I saw a headline that said Gwyneth Paltrow just won Halloween, which I didn't know that we were still saying that. You know what I
we're
mean?
still saying you just won the internet.
No,
That's one of my least favorite things.
So it was Gwyneth with just a box around her head. And that was it. From the movie. Savage.
That she was in.
And I just got...
spoiler alert, first of all. With your Halloween costume. Your costume should not be the end of a movie.
And her date at the time is dressed like a sex assaulter, a gay sex assaulter from the 1980s. What if Adam Rapp were to see that costume? The brother of the person.
Anthony Rapp.
Yes. The brother of the... He goes, that happened to my brother. But there she is winning Halloween with the box of her head. While they look like they're sitting in a tub, I don't understand that.
I'm not sure how
has
that's
nothing to do with it.
Halloween themed. I thought the thing is always that Heidi Klum wins Halloween every year, because I know every year somebody does the many costumes of Heidi Klum because she goes all fucking out every year.
Yeah, but she also has a full Hollywood team working on it.
I know, it's not fair because she obviously has like 10 makeup artists.
But I think Heidi waits for Halloween, not like these other Daydream Johnnies who just jump the boat by a couple days because they have the next day off. And Halloween is now about a week and a half holiday.
It is. It's a very lengthy holiday that has less to do with children than I remember from my youth.
Well, I'm getting dressed up this year.
Oh, you are?
Yeah.
Do you know what you're going to go with?
7 from Stranger Things. Or is it 7 or 11? 11. I said 7 because of the other one. I'm going to 7, her special needs brother. Well, Manafort just, this is just a misunderstanding. Couple of dollars changed hands. Don't worry, we're all going to wet our beaks on this, he said.
This morning,
everybody gets a taste.
This morning, when the article started to come through, I was like, I'm not even sure I should waste my time reading this, because I know within an hour or two, all of this is going to change. That's how I felt last night with the Spacey story.
Look how nice Washington looks with their leaves, though. It's very muted this year. Very muted leaves. But that can be very, very pretty. It looks like watercolor.
It does.
But when they go back to the other picture, you'll see all the trees around the White House.
We're finally getting color here.
Well, it took until the 1960s before they could really vote. But D.C. looks very, very pretty right now. Manafort's on. Look, I ain't gonna fucking spill over, okay? They could take a rubber hose to me. I'm not talking about anything. I'm going to do it the right way. Donnie, relax. I got my button before you were born. There's the picture.
Oh, yeah.
Gorgeous, right?
Yeah, that's super pretty.
It's really weird how there's not like a lot of buildings around the White House either. You know what I mean? It's kind of a standalone building, like an old farmhouse.
Yeah.
Old domed farmhouse. Jen, what'd you do over the weekend?
I had a Halloween party on Saturday.
Ooh, sexy cat?
No, a sexy ringmaster.
You got any pictures?
I do.
All right, let's take a look at the sexy ringmaster. Okay. You want to put them on Instagram, or you want to keep that part of your life private?
I mean, I can put it on Instagram. I don't see anything wrong.
How sexy. I mean, my breasts are fully exposed. Is that too much?
Was this a co-ed party that you threw?
Oh, well, it was my friend that invited me. It was like in the city. It was at a club.
Oh, yeah. The club.
Club party.
Do you have to stay in your VIP section? You weren't allowed to walk around? Somebody had paid to have you there?
She got boodle service.
What is that called when you're a girl that is asked to do that?
I don't think it's like the girls are called anything. I mean, the guys who bring us, bring the girls in are party promoters.
Yeah.
But the girls, they don't really have a name.
I'm sure you do to them.
Did you ever, have you heard this name? Hooker. All right, you got pics on your phone?
Yeah, I have it.
All right, switch out with Vito.
Okay.
Bup, 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 bup. Bup, 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 bup.
Can't wait to see this sexy ringmaster.
I know. I wonder why she went as a ringmaster. I think that's saying something about this circus that's going on right here.
It's deep. It's sexy, but deep.
Wow.
Well, we want. La-di-da.
I got my makeup done.
That's very, very great. Now, what is the, what kind of circus would this be?
I would say, like I was going for like I would have, I wanted a whip, but I would, I would be taming
like
a lion,
like an S&M thing. Whip.
Kind of.
Victoria's Secrets has a circus every year. That's what it looks like.
Yes.
By the way, they just opened up a new giant store think on Lexington, I saw it as I was coming in today. I'm like, how much underwear did they sell that they could have a store that size?
Not to mention they have so many other giant mega stores here in the city. Like, that's not the only one that's massive. Like, there's at least 3 that I would say are
right?
like
I didn't even
huge.
I didn't even know that they were still a big deal. Victoria's Secret.
It's still the go-to for some reason.
But
like,
even that look, it seems very 90s.
It is, yeah.
You
The what are they, not the angels, or what are they called?
the angels.
Yeah,
Their own angels. But remember them when they tried to have that group, like it was like the kitty cat dolls or something?
Yeah.
That seemed like the peak of we're all going to put on lingerie. It just doesn't, like today's modern woman, and this is the 90s, it's the late 90s, okay? You don't expect to see a lot of lingerie.
Yeah, and it does feel like kind of a throwback, because I know when, like, the first time I went to one of those giant ones, I didn't realize, like, they are very, like, full service, too. So, like, 2 or 3 women are, like, assigned to you. And then they put you in this, like, pink dressing room and everything, like, smells really nice. And then they come in and start, like, measuring you. And it feels very old school. It doesn't feel like a modern shopping experience.
My favorite kind of service is leave me alone.
Yeah,
I don't like when someone at the store says, "Can you help me?" Because I just want to say, I don't think I can be helped. I don't know exactly why I'm in this store. But any attention seems like it's worth. You know what I mean?
Yes. And then they're like, we're going to take you to the Paris room. And then like they take you in, and then they're like, okay, and can I feel? And then they start like doing this. There are like women in there who can just like look at you and say your size like this.
But why doesn't this ever happen to you when you walk into a bar? Why isn't there people going, "Can I help you?" But it's only places where you don't need something fast.
You seem like a gin guy to me.
Yes, I am. I'm very much a gin guy.
So you worked in a Victoria's Secret?
Yeah, when I was in high school. It's one of my many jobs.
That seems like it should be illegal to work there when you're in high school.
I would just turned 18, and it seemed like a really cool job. You know, every guys would ask me, "Oh, you work at Victoria's Secret?" So in their mind, I guess they thought I had like sexy, underwear and bras and stuff. So
what's the girl on girl action like at a Victoria's Secret? Is it?
There's certainly light groping going on. That's for sure. Very light groping.
Now, this is what Kevin Spacey's defense was. At most, it was drunken light groping.
Yes. Although these women are sober as hell.
Listen, I'm Paul Manafort walking Victoria's Secrets. Let's get some brassieres for your wife, maybe some garters. These are ankle socks. Take a bucket of them. Because this time next year, the ankle socks are going to be gone. We're practically giving them away.
Victoria's Secret also has a lot of like couch and sitting rooms for men who don't want to be walking around Victoria's Secret. That's the other thing I notice about them.
Well, that's very big in New York now. Is like if you're going to spend $15,000 for a dress, there is a couch for your husband to sit at. Why? Only your husband goes with you to get an expensive dress, like it was a car. You know what I mean? Like there's no one who's going to like, yeah, my wife's going to pick out some shirts down at Target tomorrow. I'm going to go down there and be with her the whole time. I'm going to support her at Target.
Looks great, hon.
The more expensive, the man is supposed to show up. Yeah. And you'll see these CEOs going like this. Honey, I think it makes you look a little fat. I'm totally honest. I don't think your body is in the position to wear that anymore. Let's go down Juicy Couture. Get you some of those 1970s tracksuit.
God, remember when those just were like too common? They were everywhere.
By the way, that wasn't too long ago.
I know. That was like early aughts when it was like kind of at its height.
I would even say late aughts. That you would see just juicy the whole time you're walking on the street.
And then just like a woman walking around was like head to toe pink velour tracksuit.
If anything screams North Jersey, it's that.
And then like at that time it was like the sunglasses that were kind of like with a fade to them, and then like the fake like rhinestone bling on the side. It was the worst of times. It was the worst of times.
Every woman was looking like that guy that Broadway Danny Rose was dating.
Yes.
She was like, "Can I show up to court wearing this? My husband's up on a lot of charges. Don't worry about anything. This is nothing. 12 counts. I could do fucking 12 counts standing on my head." Where my wife sleeps, where my children come to play with their toys. Haven't heard anything about that big Godfather thing. I'm supposed to hear from Vito on a project that we had running Friday. Because last week you said, "You will never not hear from me again. Count on it." And then this week I didn't hear at all. Maybe because the project didn't go too well. Nobody wants to ever bring me bad. Yeah, no one wants to bring me bad news. They say, I got it. And then they don't so much got it. Rick Gates was also busted. And no one, I don't know, I never heard his name before, but they showed it a bunch of campaign things that he was standing right behind Trump the whole time.
And his is for money laundering? Is that what that said?
All this stuff has to do with money laundering. And that's tying in with the... Oh, did you see who that was?
Yeah.
Andrea Martin.
Yeah, I love her.
Yeah. Yeah, she's fantastic.
I loved her coat.
Yeah, she has a great coat. Well, today's the first coat day.
It is. Now it's suddenly starting to feel appropriate. We had like that really weird lead up where people were like selling pumpkins on the sidewalk, but it was like everyone was sweating. Now it actually feels appropriate to be dressed. You don't want a sweaty Halloween. It's not right.
Do you get a lot of kids at your place in Jersey?
Yeah. Lots of kids.
What do you give out every year?
Well, my mom has like a whole bowl of like Kit Kats, Musketeers. I think she has Butterfingers.
We were talking about this, me and some age appropriate people the other day, that no one ever used to, when we were younger, it would just be like the Hershey house or the Kit Kat house. Nobody would give you this thing if you could grab either kind.
Oh, really?
Yeah. I don't think that they were selling stuff like that. Now, I mean, even when I think of the number of cereals that are available to everybody, you know what I mean? Like, there wasn't that many cereals when I was a kid. It looks like when you see the old National League Baseball, and you're like, that's it? That's all the teams? That's what cereal and candy look like when I was young.
I will say, I usually have an assortment, and it is usually chocolate based, and I never think that there are kids who don't like chocolate. Like, I never buy, like, sometimes Skittles or Starburst. I never do any of the fruity stuff.
I just put up a thing of peanuts just to frighten the mother and the children.
Peanuts.
And they go like this, can you eat a pistachio? Why peanut?
No, not.
Oh, the kids are allergic to all nuts?
Actually, some kids are just specific to peanut. Some are like legumes of all type. Some are like any kind of nut off the table. Some kids will have a weird random one, like just like a hazelnut. You're like, that's pretty avoidable.
Yeah, it's very avoidable. I don't even remember the last time I saw a hazelnut.
But you know what went over really big for me is I did Whoppers for the kids. And I don't know why, but they were, like the chocolate round Whoppers. And I don't know why, but they went over very big and they all would remark on it.
What would they say?
Like, Whoppers, this is great. And all of the kids were opening mine as they received them. And I felt very good about that.
Every reason that you should.
And like, I was sitting there, because the way I have set up, all the kids in my building are kind of have like a party in the lobby.
That's nice.
And then the kids in the neighborhood walk around. And then people who want to give out candy will sit like on the stoop out front.
That's
so
fun.
that just the
Very
kids.
Brooklyn.
So I'm like watching other people and they're getting less excited reactions to me. And I felt very proud of myself. It's like, I went Whopper. I thought it was a risk, but it went very well.
You ever hear these suburban people who they go to a parking lot and they put all the stuff in their trunks and they dress their trunks up?
That was my not my high school, my grade school.
The trunk or treat? They call
trunk
it?
or treat.
Oh, yeah, I didn't know that.
I do not. Something about that is so depressing to me. I don't know.
You go around, you get stuff out of a trunk. What isn't happy about that? Your trunk looks so nice.
No, do they decorate the
We
trunk?
decorated the trunk, yeah.
You know who started that? Eddie Trunk.
Of course.
It's Trunk or Treat's heavy metal Halloween party. Everyone dresses up like Kiss. Everyone. Yeah, Trunk or Treat, I couldn't be. I'm like, I'm not leaving the house. I'm not going to fucking sit there and dress up my trunk. I'd rather just be known as the person in the neighborhood who isn't trying to do something nice.
Also, it's a little counterintuitive to the whole don't take candy from strangers from their car, except for this very specific
All
trunk or treat.
Halloween is the weirdness of that.
I know.
Not only that, but go into that fucking single man's house down at the end of the cul-de-sac. No, that's tomorrow, right? Halloween?
Tomorrow's Halloween, yeah.
That makes tonight Mischief Night.
Oh,
as
that's
we would
right.
say in Delaware County, Mischief Night. A night to go out and start some mischief. I know where I'm going. Old Lady Hoyt's.
Hoyt?
Yeah, that was her last name. Hoyt. She was a school teacher, a mean school teacher, third grade school teacher. And the children would go, we would throw corn, Indian corn against her windows. We would write soap on her windows. We would write on her sidewalk. Drove her crazy. And then, this is a true story, her and her husband would hide in the bushes. And when you would come up to throw something, a big flashlight would go off, and they would start blowing a rape whistle at you. So you would throw your stuff and then turn around and tear out of it. It is impossible for an adult to catch a running child.
No, I don't know why, but I think they just get that adrenaline.
Well,
speed.
they're doing it all the time. Like, we run every couple of years.
Just one emergency situation.
They run sometimes for no apparent reason, just to see how fast they can run.
I never did any mischief night, or I think some people call it cabbage night, or there's something.
No
some
one
kind
calls
of
it cabbage night.
Oh, then it's.
There's Hell Night, it gets called some
I
places.
thought some place called it cabbage night.
If anyone calls it cabbage night,
I swear.
that would be Nerd City.
I swear.
And Nerd
Someone tell me they in their neighborhood or wherever they were from.
Cabbage night sounds more like St. Patrick's Day.
It does. I never did any of that, but when I had my first apartment, when I went upstate for college, I went to buy eggs just to eat, and I had to show them my ID, and I was like, "What?" And they're like, "Mischief night." Show me the ID. And I was like, I don't understand.
Hold on, they didn't say cabbage night?
No.
That's odd.
I swear somebody says cabbage night.
Yeah, she would throw eggs at the houses. You could actually throw any kind of... You would TP them, which was short for toilet paper. But then we would do some stuff in the street. It was really like TV prank stuff. And one of the best that we would do is you would have kids on one side of the street and kids on the other side of the street. And when a car was coming by, you would yell, "Pull!" And you just started yanking this emergency chain, this imaginative chain. It didn't exist. And the car would stop and screech to a halt. And then we would crack up that we made a car stop. And then the driver of that car would get out and run at us. And this is one that was, even to this day, I believe, a borderline genius. It was an air horn. You ever see the air horn like you would take to a sporting event? Big air horn. And you would have that and a big flashlight. And we would stand on the train tracks where there was a crossing. And as the cars came over the train track, one kid would hit the big light and the other kid would hit the horn. And they would think that a train was 2 feet from them. And then they would pull over, stop the car, and get out and run at you. Now, the great thing there is you're running straight up the train tracks in the dark. They're not going to chase you too long because their car is just sitting there in the road now. An adult doesn't want to run up the train tracks. The bad thing about that is, and even sometimes you have somebody waiting just to get a look whether the people freaked out or not, because you couldn't always see them that good.
Yeah, you want to be able to enjoy your spoils of that moment.
But you can't do this in the daylight. It would just look like a kid. 844 Rock God, 844 Rock God. Jim in Scranton.
Yeah, Ron, big fan of Mischief Night. I'm 35 years old. Have never stopped. Now, though, it's more about mischieving the kids. Got a Four Seasons room in my house that I'll sit outside in. And getting kids on Mischief Night, I usually get them once a year with those noisemakers. They pull the string and they pop.
Yeah.
So you yell, "I have a gun." I set off 4 or 5 of those.
Oh my God.
That's fun. That's fun now.
And in today's climate? I don't know.
What do you mean today's climate? Guns are fun.
It's great, man. And they go. The kids go.
Now,
Thanks, Ronnie.
that's the thing. You get that it's all in fun. Some people take it like so seriously. But if this thing exists, I agree with him. The homeowners should be part of it.
Everyone should have a chance to have mischief.
Yeah. That should be it. I remember one time this guy, we used to go up and do a thing that we called minority knocking, where we would bang on a door and then run away. And we would do it over and over. And this guy, I can remember him like it was tomorrow, and he was a burly-chested guy. He came in, instead of coming to the front door, he went around the back. And I remember that his whole face had shaving cream on it. He was just shaving, and he was like, "I'm gonna fucking kill you." And he scared the piss out of me. And I'm like, now to this day, I'm like, why are you shaving 8 o'clock at night? What the fuck were you up to? I mean, I know some people are night shavers, but 8 o'clock seems crazy. Here's Jason in Wisconsin.
Hey, buddies.
Hey.
Hey, I actually got carded for eggs this morning, trying to buy eggs for breakfast. I'm 41.
First of all,
I'm like, I know the lady behind the counter. I'm like, Linda, either you fucking give me the eggs or I'm going to throw them at your house.
Jason,
I work 70 hours a week. I ain't got time for this shit.
It's never illegal to buy eggs. There's no reason.
It's easier to buy fucking Sudafed.
There is no reason that anyone should be carding for eggs ever.
Yeah, I mean, I'm at least glad to hear him because I was very insulted because I was thinking that this person thought I was like 12 years old.
Well, you would be still. Just the fact is, this guy's also babyface. Joey, New Rochelle.
Ron, I spent my Sunday night painting pumpkins blue. Have you heard about this yet?
No.
Yeah, the teal pumpkin, right?
Yes, teal, correct. I actually had to go back and get teal paint, not blue. Because if you put a teal pumpkin on your porch, that means you are peanut-free. And any kid can come to your house and trick-or-treat.
See, I think part of the fun thing would be to paint it teal, and then it's like a little mischief night prank. Have some chocolate-covered peanuts deep into a big chunk.
Got you.
Woo! Woo! You just got cabbaged.
So now I have a big box of Twizzlers and mini pretzels to give out. Nothing fun.
Nothing fun at all. All right. I'll tell you this. I'll take the Twizzlers. I like when they would ask you which one you wanted. Oh, Twizzlers? You know how some kids would eat walking around? I never did that because I wanted to go home, dump the loot.
Yeah, that was the best part.
And then move it over to candy that maybe my mom would like because it's disgusting.
Also, my mom checked my candy.
Here you go.
So it's also why I had to wait.
Charleston Chew. Mom, I know you like the Charleston Chews. Your mom went through to see if there was anything in your candy?
She would always go through my candy. So I was specifically not allowed to eat it on the street.
This is Jimmy Kimmel's big eat your kids' Halloween candy prank. And some people get so mad at that bit.
Why? It's hilarious.
Because when you make a child cry, they say it stays with them forever.
Yeah, but they're crying over eating candy. You know, that's like...
Right.
By the way, we're giving you up for adoption. It's just your candy's gone.
Did you say trick or treat at the door?
I did say trick or treat, yeah.
My line was, do you have any candy handy? Do you ever go out just in your regular clothes because you got to be 13? Like, give me some candy. I'll be back here in fucking 15 minutes and I'll light this house up if I don't get any candy. Look who it is. It's Hard Rock Johnny.
Bennington's.
Hey.
Goosey night by us, by the way. I don't know why, but it was Goosey night.
Did you grab ass? You were grabbing
I don't know where it came from, but it was always Goosey night. I know, you talked about the guy coming out from behind the house. One night on Goosey night, we decided to go buy a bunch of tampons or pads, maxi pads. That's it. And because we couldn't get eggs because they wouldn't sell them to us. So we were running around and sticking them on cars. And my friend was running up the street and he sticks it on a car window, goes to the next car, sticks it on the car window. Gets to the next car, sticks it on the car window, except the window was open, and he put it right on the guy's head, who then got out of the car and chased us up the block with a fucking pad on his fucking giant maxi pad on his head, chasing us up the street. I'm gonna kill you, kids.
Seriously, this is urban myth, Johnny. This is for your Halloween special.
True story, no lies. I swear on a gobo for the event that it did happen.
Well, you're still bringing up the gobo stuff, huh?
I'm not. Someone else is.
Chris told me he took a little heat over that thing that's coming up, but then he laid down for something else. All right, Johnny. We'll talk to you soon, my friend. You're the best. A good one. Go Giants.
Later.
Go Giants.
Great.
Brian in Raleigh.
Hey, I looked it up here. Gail is correct. Cabbage night is a thing. New York, Connecticut, Rhode Island, Massachusetts, and upstate New York.
That must be where I heard it.
It's cabbage night. Doesn't it sound like the waspiest thing ever? Everyone get your cabbage out. We throw them off the yacht.
It's cabbage. They use rotten cabbages in pranks on that night.
Everyone in the Ivy League practices cabbage night. It's quite a bit of fun. Here's Kevin in South Carolina.
Ronnie, I was wondering what happened to the days when all we had to worry about was a razor blade in our candy.
What are we worried about now? Nukes from North Korea?
In our candy.
It seems like
I don't remember anybody ever getting food poisoning or allergies from eating candy when I was a kid.
Well, we weren't allergic to peanuts back then, that's for sure. There wasn't.
I don't know what happened. Because I didn't grow up with anyone who was allergic to peanuts. And then within, a couple years even later, it was just like a little bit younger than me was like, all of those kids were like deathly allergic to it.
I have my own theory about this. It's going to slow things down.
Okay.
All right. So, in the entirety of the world's history, right? How many human beings do you think ate peanuts? You know what I mean? It was probably a rare thing to eat peanuts. Then, in the early part of last century, peanut butter was invented. It went from being a food that no one ate till every child ate every day, every single day. And I think it somehow fucked with the DNA, and these kids are paying for the fact that 2 or 3 generations of people completely OD'd on peanut butter.
Just overuse it. I mean, think about this. If somebody says, oh, what would you do if you had a peanut allergy? I'm like, I wouldn't be able to function. Like, there's too many things that have peanuts in it that I love. But you're right. This would have been a very easy thing to give up a century ago.
It would be easier to have a penis allergy today than it would be a peanut allergy.
I agree.
So I think it's just like the same way with sugar and chocolate. It was rarely eaten in the history of the planet, and then everybody ate it. And I think even some kids are fat now because their parents and grandparents were fat. You know what I mean?
That it's like we fattened up our gene pool.
we fattened up our gene pool. And I'm saying that as a person who has a doctorate in radio with a minor in comedy. So yeah, I think that's something that oddly just kind of fucking came apart. But I feel for a kid who has a peanut allergy, but I'm not going to make my house peanut proof. But I also laugh. There was somebody who was sending some shit around like, remember when it used to be like when we used to drink from hoses? And I'm like, well, first of all, who's fucking stopping you now? And second, I remember my parents always yelled, stop drinking from that hose. Something crawled up there. You want to drink from a hose for two reasons. A, you're drinking from the outside. B, it's cold. C, it gives the water a nice rubbery aftertaste.
Very strange taste. But I did like it as a kid.
Everybody likes it.
Growing up in Florida, it was like the first shot out was always like boiling hot water and then eventually freezing cold.
That was dangerous, the summer hose. But look, if it was as good as you're saying, every sink would have a fucking garden hose on it. And we would be drinking that way. But I hate, like, don't you hate that we can't drink from hoses? Who's fucking stopping you? Stop sending me something. You know you were an 80s kid if.
You enjoyed a hose drink.
You watched MTV. God, I fucking hate that. Why are you passing this around?
They really do love that.
We thought Cosby was a great dad. By the way, we're doing Gilbert Unmasked Wednesday night. And his Cosby appearance, did you ever see it?
I don't think I have seen his Cosby appearance.
Somebody told me that it was the highest rated Cosby of all time, which means it was 60 times bigger than any fucking regular TV show that's out now. Right. But he was so young. He was just yelling like he was just doing that Gilbert yell when he was a kid. Cosby was trying to was buying something, maybe a car or something, and was trying to like not let on that he's a doctor. And so he was like dressed all down and shit. And then Gilbert shows up. Dr. Cosby! And it was like, his wife is all... I forgot what... She had a great job too, right?
She was a doctor, I think.
Yeah, she was a doctor as well. Or a professor or something. He was...
Was he a professor? Was he a teacher?
No, he was a gynecologist or something.
Yeah.
Or pediatrician.
OBGYN or...
something like that.
Something like that.
I didn't think she was a doctor too, though.
I thought she was like a doctor in the sense that she was like a professor, like she had a doctorate, but not a medical doctorate. I don't remember.
See if you can find that thing, Chris, for later. Paul, Jersey.
Hey, buddies.
Yeah.
One of my earliest mischief night stories was we had our mailbox smashed one night, and I was really pissed, and I wanted to find the kids who did it. So a couple of weeks go by, and these guys show up with the cops, and I guess they got caught, and they said, no, we're sorry, here's the money. And I went from wanting to punch these kids to feeling sorry for them because my dad lit into them saying, you motherfuckers, I don't need your money. What if I smash your head into the point where I was like, Dad, leave them alone.
Dad,
crazy.
I have to go to school with these kids. Look, Maureen sent us a picture of... and says, seems like Victoria's Secrets should have faded away with Vanity 6. Fucking Vanity was the hottest.
Vanity was so great.
Yeah. She was the hottest. I love it or shove it. Us Midwesterners call it Devil's Night. Shouldn't that read we Midwesterners? My wife's from Hackensack, and she calls it Cabbage Night.
I think that must be why I know a lot of people who grew up upstate New York. I think that's where they come from. I didn't
know that you had such great friends. Here's Larry in Albany, upstate New York.
Here's how you get around that nobody's selling you eggs thing.
Yeah.
We would buy eggs in like June, and we'd put them out in the backyard in the shed, and they would rot in the shell. And then when you hit somebody with one of those, it was like getting hit with death.
Larry, you put more into this night than you ever should have.
That's great.
So much
planning.
That's dedication.
Kyle, Atlanta.
Hey, Benningtons.
Yeah.
Hey, so the whole cabbage night, I don't know if the origin is this, but I've always heard that if you take cabbages and stuff them down somebody's water well, when they rot, it completely ruins the well because you can't get that rotted cabbage smell and taste out of the water.
It's too long lasting.
That's like
remember Halloween? Like it takes a while for it to rot and ruin everything. That was from cabbage night, dude.
But is it because we didn't give out full-size bars? Is that why they're doing this? You put shit on our house. Yeah, I'm not going to think it's a funny prank to cut someone's brake wires either. Mark in Iowa.
Hey, Benningtons. All right, Cosby's wife was a lawyer. He was a GYN. And Sinbad was the car salesman. And Gilbert was at the dealership for, like, service or something and started screaming, oh, yeah, he's a doctor,
yeah,
his wife's a lawyer.
Chris has it. Let's just play it for a second.
My new car? Oh, yes. In addition to being a salesman, I can also see into the future. And I see you in that car. Can you also see me getting a good deal? Oh, I see you getting a great deal. All right.
Dr. Huxtable! Dr. Huxtable!
Yeah.
It's good to see you, Doctor.
Yeah, how are you, Mr. Barrett? What are you doing here?
I'm having my car serviced. What about you? You thinking about buying?
Well, I came to buy a station wagon, maybe.
A station wagon with all of your money? And look, what are these clothes you're wearing? I go into this guy's office. He wears designer sweaters. One of his sweaters costs more than my whole wardrobe. Who's this guy standing?
That's my son. This is Mr. Babbitt.
Hi, your name?
Theo.
Hi, Leo. It's very nice seeing you.
You're a doctor.
And how's Mrs. Huxtable?
Oh, so.
So. I heard she was made a partner in her law firm. She's the biggest law firm in the country. Look, I wish I could stay here talking to you, but look, I gotta go home. I'm gonna tell Nancy I saw you,
Yes,
Dr. Huxtable.
Thank you.
Oh, good. Nice meeting you, Leo.
Why, he's such a baby face. Why is he playing it like he's 90?
I don't understand.
I'm an old Joe.
Doctor. I heard she was made partner.
He's got a designer sweater. Fucking hilarious. What is that, Wednesday night?
Wednesday night, 6 p.m. at the Village Underground.
I might be late. I might be getting there around 8:39.
Seems like that's really late, though.
Just tell him if I'm not there, start talking about his life and his movie, the documentary of his life.
Seems like you should be there, though.
Caitlyn Jenner went on said she had a dream, and that was to go on the beach in a bathing suit.
Yeah, she said something like 30, 40 years ago, she told her therapist her lifelong dream is to live her authentic self on the beach.
Why wouldn't she go to a crowded beach? You got look at the picture of the bucket. This is not the picture. Look at the wingspan.
Holy shit.
What did she say? Just free?
Yeah.
She goes, we got Trump. I'll say this, there's zero bulge in the bathing suit.
No, she is living her authentic self.
She did
it. Free. But she's still got that stride, though. She got to work on that walk.
She's got a big stride, and she's got very busy arms. Look at the arms.
Yeah.
A lady does not swing their arms like
that. Not that manner.
You can do that when you're a young girl, but that's that's not a Caitlyn walk yet.
No, not quite. Not
I like
quite.
to go over there and put an encyclopedia on her head and have her walk around for a while. Balance. It's all about balance, dear girl.
I wondered if that her yelling free on the beach was a reference to Paris is Burning, because there's a scene in the documentary where someone gets their sex change and then she's walking on the beach like, I'm as free as the wind on this beach. I was like, maybe she said to Paris is Burning. Maybe she's learning.
Good for her. Good for Caitlin.
She's happy.
It's nice they're on a private beach that you walk on. Later we'll talk about this cult in upstate New York. I had never heard about a cult like this before. Normally, if somebody is a cult, it's religion based, or my own kind of favorite cults are the death cults, that the end is coming and we're going to do something before the end. But this is the first cult ever that I know of that was based on executive success programs. So these guys started as executive success, right?
Right.
He'd be like a consultant, one of those guys that would come in and work on team building with the whole gang. And now he has a harem of girls that he keeps on 800 calories a day.
Oh.
And brands his initials right next to their thin little cunnies. Because now 800, what is supposed to be the amount of calories you're supposed to have today?
It's got to be like double that.
I think it's 2,000.
2,000?
I believe so.
I do that for breakfast.
Yeah.
Somebody came to my house. They goes, "Is this a breakfast buffet?" I go, "No, it's simply breakfast. Yours is on the stove. It's coming soon." But
there's the branding there.
There's this, yeah. So part of it is like your 50 Shades of Grey. You know what I mean? He treats the ladies that way, and the other part is like NLP and self hypnosis and just real like, hey, let's really chase our goals. But part of it is also you want to look out for number one. You know what I mean? You can't help anybody until you get your shit together. I'm writing a book called Get Your Shit Wired, and I'm pretty excited about it.
Start a cult with it. I think you could.
When I was younger, I thought, when I checked out a couple cults, I'm like, I could probably run a church, and who knows, maybe even a cult. Because all you're going to do is get not a ton of people. You don't need to go Catholic church, because they're going to be working for you all the time. You know, you probably do it with 40, 50 people tops.
And there are people who are just ready for that level of commitment and community.
Let me think for you. I tell them.
People love that kind of stuff. And whether they're like diet people, whether it's self-help, whether it's meditation. I mean, I went to a yoga class this weekend, and the woman I was talking to the instructor after, and she was saying how they had set up this thing where you could do, like, you could sign up for X amount of unlimited classes if you pay this a month or whatever. You could just pop in. And she said, we had to tell this guy, you cannot come to every class. So he was going to like 6 classes of yoga a day, and he's like, why? I paid the thing. And he was like making notes on each instructor, writing down everything they did, grading them with a color code system. I'm like, some people, even if the thing is good for you, somebody will be like, oh, yoga's good for you, someone's gonna be like, yeah, but I'm going 150% on this all the time.
Well, no matter, I mean, if you think that most things that you're around that are an organization are somewhat cult-like,
yeah.
The difference is you can quit that yoga class. Where if you try to quit, to me, that's always the deal. And that's why Scientology, when I hear their shit, it's worse than I hear, like, if you quit the Baptist, you're just a guy he's not coming to church lately. He's a bad person.
Right.
But no one comes over to your house, tries to force you back. You know what I mean? That's the thing to me, if they try to force you back. But other than that, a country club can get a little culty.
Yeah. A corporation, if you work for a company that they're just like, we do the best product and we just want the best for our people. And there are companies who are like, people are like, I love where I work. It's weird. It's really weird.
It's a lot of places. And now, especially with the new tech jobs, where you're supposed to go to all the functions at night, and
then they refer to it as the family, you know, like they'll say that corporation family, whatever it is. It's weird.
And like I'm like, hey, if I could get on my family, I would. You know what I mean? Like, why am I in my family? That's a little culty to me. Any kind of rehab thing can be a little culty, but again, no one forces you to come back. It's only when you're not allowed to leave. Or I'd say this, we don't want you talking to your mom. You know what I mean? We don't want you talking to people outside of this. So that's your old friends and your mom.
Right. We understand the real you. We know what's best for you.
Yeah.
That kind of stuff.
And we need all your money to make this happen. But as far as magical thinking goes, magical thinking is every religion that you've ever heard of before in your life.
Of course, yeah. No one religion is more absurd than the other. They all have
That's
some.
because you don't watch that Scientology show.
Well, yeah. I mean, I'm talking about what they at their core belief system. Not
Yes, the Scientology show.
Yeah.
The whole thetans and the exploding volcanoes. And, only because it's new. That's what makes it even more ridiculous.
Yeah.
But do you know that they've turned Star Wars into a religion over like in England or something? And people like bringing it up. The Force, very, very.
Yeah, that's the Holy Spirit.
It is, and it's also for good and evil. It's up to you how you use that power.
Yeah.
Personally, evil way more interesting.
It is, yeah.
Way more interesting.
We got the whole personal gain thing. It's about my stuff, making me better.
All right, let's take a break here. Back. Happy Cabbage Day, everybody. It's Bennington. Bennington Show. Monday, October 30th, 2017. This is going to be known as the fastest year in the history of the human race. Time has sped up, and we're all sliding into the abyss. Johnny Go-Go tweeted out that even he doesn't believe Hard Rock Johnny's story. Hashtag totally made up.
I mean, I didn't want to tell him how to do his cabbage night, but it seems like he should have painted them at least. You've got to paint the maxi pads red. That would have made it better.
I don't, for a second, believe that the window was down. It went on a man's head, and the man got up and read why somebody was playing yakety sax.
Oh, I got Jen's sister's costume. Do you want to see? It's awesome.
That is fucking frightening.
It's really scary. She's Black Swan. And her makeup is
Black
perfect.
old swan, won't you come? You're still not talking with your sister, huh?
Nope.
Was that your swan costume that she stole? That's not right.
Something happened between you and your sister that you're not telling us.
Nothing serious, really. It was just like, it's just awkward because I'm not the bigger person to say anything to her, and she's obviously not going to say anything to me. So it's just being
So what started it?
Clothes, makeup, and then just like really bad fights that made us want to hit each other. When it got to that extent, it was like, okay, we need a break. We need a break from each other.
Here's what you got to understand. There's always going to be clothes and makeup, but you only got one sister.
Mm-hmm.
She pisses me off, though. She really makes me mad.
I know. But guess what? If she got hit by a train tomorrow,
Yeah.
you'd miss those fights.
I know.
Yeah.
You'll still be able to buy makeup.
That's true. That's true. She just has she's just like a very angry person. When she gets angry, it's like level 10.
We never even see you in a fight around here.
I think I just instigate her. It's kind of like Vito and Chris, when they have their fights, and it's like I'm the instigator. I just like talking shit to her, and then she just gets mad.
So are you the Vito or the Chris?
I'm probably the Chris in this.
That's you don't never want to be the Chris.
Don't label yourself that.
AC in Brooklyn, what's up?
What's happening, guys? Love the show.
It is good.
Hey, I was listening, and you're talking about full-size candy bars. I've been giving out full-size candy bars for years. They love me in the neighborhood.
It is true. With a full-size candy bar, you'll become a local celebrity in your neighborhood.
Exactly. If the parents come up to me and say, "Do you mind if I take one?"
Why? Because it's bigger?
You know what? This is starting to convince me that I need to go full size.
If you went full size.
The full size are the best. I'm a single guy, especially with single moms that come around.
Yeah.
They love it.
He's working every angle.
Very smart.
Every angle.
Yeah.
Yeah, I love it, guys. Thanks a lot.
I like this because then I could also impress those DILFs out there.
Now, how much does if I was to buy a bag of full sizes, right?
Mm-hmm.
What's that going to set me back? What am I looking at? Okay. What's the receipt on that?
I don't know. I mean, there's got to be a reason people
Are they
don't
about
do it.
$1 a candy bar?
I believe so, wholesale, yeah.
Yeah, they would.
All right. So how many candy bars? I mean, how many kids do you see over the course of a night?
Probably like 50, 60 maybe.
All right, that might set you back $50, $60.
Yeah.
Probably if you go out and you get Target. Right. I'm looking up this now. Target will sell you a box of full size bars, 18 for $11.
Oh, that seems worth it.
You could go out for $30 and cover your high 50s.
Worth it.
Now, I'm not sure now too whether that is all different kinds of stuff or
Like, is it a standard Hershey? Are we talking?
I found a standard Hershey chocolate bar, 36 of them for $22. A regular Hershey bar.
Yeah, but there's no nuts in it.
No nuts.
I mean, a Hershey bar on its own, it bores me.
It can be
The only
dull.
way I
The
could eat
flavors-
it is if you could dip in. All right, I'm looking at this. Snickers, Reese's, Kit Kats, Nestle Crunch, 18 for $11.
All full size.
Full size.
That seems worth it to me.
And
Be
you
a
could
classy
cover
person.
you could cover all your needs for less than $35.
Yeah, that's worth it.
In my neighborhood, there was one guy, and everybody loved him. He would hand out cigarettes.
That guy's awesome.
Yeah, he was great. He'd smoke it in his house. He goes like this. Now remember, kids, do not say where you got him from. We're like, we're not going to.
Was he giving out whole packs or just Lucy's?
You just getting it. He had the pack there, and he put it like that. You pulled it out yourself, but then you would light it in his house and you go back out on the street. Smoking a cigarette when you were a kid was so fucking wonderful, so exciting, especially at night.
It was very exciting. I'm like splitting a cigarette was like a thing.
And we would actually say this when a car went by, cuff it. And sometimes the Twin Oaks Super Cuff. Jay and the Americans, you're on the Bennington Show.
Hey, Jay. I'm also a full-size candy bar guy, handouts, but that's because my wife remembers that as a kid growing up. So, especially, I was into it because I remember the jackass who give you like 3 pennies rolled up in cellophane.
Fucker.
That sucked. Even back 35 years ago, that sucked.
Hey.
So I wanted to make sure we were the opposite of that.
No, you're the exact opposite. Now, what's a box of your candy costing you? What's it setting you back? What do you got?
I heard you just talking about that. It's not that bad. I'm not going to name it, but one of those big box, warehouse stores, you hit it right, you could get like a box of 30 for like $14, $15.
You can say what warehouse it is.
Oh, it's Costco. The only thing is that, it kind of backfired in the sense that you become the most popular house for candy. So...
Yeah, I guess that's true.
Because everyone's trying to double back.
Yeah, but you know what? Fuck it. For that price, you're going to be doing that. I mean, you know what you're spending on fireworks if you want to be the guy at your house that has fireworks? A lot fucking less than this. And plus, here's the deal. Your neighbors are going to feel like and look like shit. And isn't that what the season's all about? Anthony, what's up?
The problem is word spreads like wildfire when you start giving out the big size bars.
I don't know how many kids are out there, but it isn't like the old days.
It's like hundreds of kids just lined up.
And when you shut it down, you shut it down. There's nothing you can do. I can't fucking help the kid who thinks he's too cool to go out early.
Although the earlier you are out, like, I love seeing, like, the little kids, because that's when it's still light outside, is when you get, like, the toddler parade, and they're all walking around. That's the best time.
I remember there would always be, like, you'd have half your fucking costume on, and some kid would come over, we going out, and you're like, dude, I'm not going out in fucking nerd time, all right? I can't tell you how stupid you look right now.
It's the light of day.
Yeah.
This is not scary.
Gwyneth Paltrow has already won Halloween. It takes the pressure off of every kid in the country.
I just want a piece of the pie. You know what I mean? I accept that I'm not going to win this year.
I just want to make my friends laugh. I don't know whether that stand-up show, I think it was last night, where the comics go out and do impressions of other comics.
Yeah.
I don't know whether the fucking rain brought it all down. I saw Dan Soder's favorite team is the 49ers, the San Francisco 49ers. So he and Jay were going to the game, and I see Jay the other night, and he goes, I talked Dan out of wearing a shirt. He didn't want him to wear a 49ers shirt there. Because at the very least, you're just going to have some guy needling you the whole game.
Yeah.
The worst, someone punches you in the face on your way to a fucking bathroom. Philly gets fucking so nasty that way.
Yeah, I wouldn't do it. I would never do that.
The big kneel down story was the owner of the Houston Texans said, we got to do something about this kneeling. We can't let the prisoners run the fucking prison, right?
Mm-hmm.
The asylum, whatever the fuck he said. The inmates run the prison. Well, they all took that fucking personal shit, so most of the team knelt down. It has very little to do with the original shit, and this should just be called a fuck me? No, fuck you.
Yeah, that's pretty much the whole team. Are there any holdouts there? Oh,
a couple
white guys.
3 white guys.
3 white guys.
The white guys on the team. The white guys on the team are like holding fucking locking arms to play Red Rover, Red Rover. If anybody wants to do that.
That's not the point, guys.
It is. Red Rover is a way of saying be nice to each other.
Oh, Red Rover was horrible. It was like a really brutal game.
Yeah, because all the guys would run right between two girls. It's like a fucking bull run through paper. All those street games were fucking ridiculous back then. Black old sun, won't you come? So that's always funny when they try to pull that gimmick. Most of the Texans, all the non-white Texans knelt down.
That's really funny. Just the 3 white dudes standing on the end.
Now, you were saying that you didn't want to get your Stranger Things ruined. I wish somebody would have ruined the JFK fucking doc stuff that they put out. Nothing there.
Yeah, I think like Vice, it's up on the interrobang, but there's like 4 like major bullet points.
None of those are major.
But none of them are life changing. And more than anything, it just felt like a distraction. Just like, woo, look over here. But yeah, I mean,
Oswald acted alone. There's no way around it.
It's just like the amount of it's just like raw data. People had to go through it. It doesn't seem like there's a lot there.
Doesn't seem like they couldn't have put this out in fucking 64.
Yeah, it doesn't seem like there's anything that top secret. Other than, I guess, the point is how strongly they were like, hey, let's make sure we have the media get on board with the Oswald thing. Like that.
But you would do that with anybody.
Yeah.
Like if that was the truth, like with 9/11, you want to go, I want the media to get along with this was the case. Like, it doesn't prove any fucking thing that it doesn't. It's like, let's not let the conspiracy stuff get out of fucking control. It's not good for any of us.
Right.
But there wasn't any.
There wasn't anything groundbreaking.
There was no show of cover-up. There was no show of anybody connected. And this was what? How many years ago? 50...
3?
Well, it was 50... Yeah, 3 years ago we did the whole fucking big party for it. Like 50 years. Now it's every fucking album that came out either 40 years ago or 50 years ago. Every fucking week you have to hear about some album. Can't take much more of it. I want a complete break until Woodstock 50, and then I'll give lectures throughout the country.
But yeah, I'm not really sure what then, if there's not any major takeaways from this, what was the purpose of having this top secret for this amount of time that the public was not allowed to access these documents?
And the Friday before, the CIA said that they wanted to redact some things to protect sources they used back in '64, which made no sense because all those sources should be dead and gone by now.
Not necessarily. I mean, you could have been 30 back there and you're still around. And Maybe
or like
even family.
Yeah, and also if it's like an organization or something like that, you want to
The
protect
Knights of
it.
Columbus might have done something for him. But
Never trusted those knights. What are they up to?
the only thing we want you to cover or not cover is whether the fuck somebody had something to do with this besides Oswald. That's it. That's all that's all I care about. Now the JFK movie looks fucking ridiculous. It's not like any of the conspiracy people are going to act like, oh, the conspiracy stopped. They go on and on like that forever.
Right, because they'll have an answer for whatever facts we're given anyway.
Yeah, there's just another cover up.
So, yeah, I mean...
Nobody could fucking believe that a great man was taken down by an asshole with a gun. It's impossible for them ever to believe it. They just can't believe that a fucking moron could walk up behind Jesse James, shoot him in the back of the head. And these things are what happens. They happen more than not. Most people get killed by firearms. That's what I'm trying to say.
Jesus.
Yeah.
It's darker than I thought.
Yeah, Tom Petty was shot with a firearm.
Oh, no.
Prince, Michael Jackson.
What?
Elvis P. Presley. I saw a guy dressed as a king the other night. Just walking down the street looking like the king. I'm like, I don't even see how this is a costume. You just look good, dude.
You just
look fucking great wearing a cape and a jumpsuit.
There's a guy who lives in my neighborhood who is an Elvis impersonator by his profession. I assume it's his profession because he's always really done up. And my neighborhood always has like a Halloween party, and he was performing as Elvis. And I'm like, yeah, but this is just how he looks all the time. Like I saw him wearing that on Tuesday.
He should have came dressed as Jerry Lee Lewis. I might go out as Paul Manafort this week.
I like people who do a Halloween costume that's like from the news that day or the day before.
I used to just
like
dress
super topical.
I used to just dress as one of my buddies and do an impression of him all night.
Maybe my worst costume I've ever done, because I was throwing it together before a party, was I went as my friend Joe Matosky, and I had a blue beard that kind of looked like his beard, but he doesn't have a blue beard. So I went as Blue Matosky, and I just dressed all in blue with a blue beard. So I was just Joe if he was blue. And everyone was like, I didn't get it. And I was like, yeah, I didn't really have a lot of time. I didn't really think this through.
Blue Matosky.
And
that is not her color, man. Pink.
No, it's not.
That is not the way her to go.
I should also mention that Joe was really late to the party, so that also made it really awkward because he wasn't even there.
Not even to get the initial laugh about. Hey, Brian, Chicago.
Hey, how you doing, Ryan?
Hey.
Yeah, I'm one of them big bar guys too on Halloween. It's great, man, because I don't have to clean up no eggs or house paint up my car.
Yeah, you're beloved.
Yeah. It's like protection money.
Yeah.
It's cheaper than insurance.
You know what? Get everybody a little taste. Don't sit there and hoard it. Anthony, Brooklyn.
Hey, what's up, guys? Gail, I know exactly who you're talking about. I live in Brooklyn, too. I'm not going to say the area, but you have to check out. That guy was on Hoarders. I don't know if you've seen that episode.
Oh, really?
Yeah, he was on Hoarders, and it's the funniest thing ever. His friend keeps quoting Rocky, saying that there is no tomorrow. We have to clean up today. And the Elvis guy freaks out. He goes, stop quoting Rocky, stop. He almost has a nervous breakdown. It is hysterical. You got to watch it.
Is that him, Gail?
Let's see. I can't see his face there. This guy, actually, no. Strangely, that guy is a different Elvis impersonator.
It's not the same guy?
Oh, wait, maybe that is him, actually. Now I'm not sure. I've never seen him without his shades.
He walks around like that every day.
Now I'm thinking maybe it is the same dude, because I've never seen him without his Elvis shades on.
Well, I'll leave it like this. He lives in like a building, right?
I think he does. He doesn't live in my building, but I think he lives in a building near me.
He definitely lives in a building, and he performs in bars, and he looks like that every single day.
Yeah, I think that might be the same dude.
At the very least, just watch the Hoarders.
I definitely will. I always like a Hoarders episode. That in itself is like a horror TV show.
There was a guy in my neighborhood who was on Hoarders, right? So he has this apartment. He had got 2 fucking junky cars and a fucking junk van and had them filled with fucking shit. Literally trash. His apartment's so filled, he could no longer fit in the apartment. This fucking dude, he was not a bad looking guy either when I saw him around. He was always in a hurry going from one place to the next. He'd have to move these fucking trash cars back and forth because, you know, you got alternate parking in the city. His life was exhausting because he was hoarding. And he would even have so there would be things like suitcases tied to the top of these fucking cars. And I think he probably was like Chris. He had an apartment that had been in the family a long time. But his parents were famous because they invented the talk show.
What?
Back in like the 1940s, early 50s. They were the first people to say on radio, hey, instead of just playing records, why don't we go in there and we can talk? And they went in as a couple and they did like gossip, like what's happening around New York. And they had somebody in from Broadway, an occasional movie star. But I actually went and looked them up. They invented the chat show.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
That's really strange.
This kid was raised with, you know, wealth, New York apartments, upstate fucking estates, all that kind of shit. But when that hoarding gets fucking in touch with you,
yeah.
And this is the weird thing about me, I don't slightly understand the desire. Like the other day, the Pitbull comedy was in here, Bobby Slayton, and he said that he collected everything about the Black Lagoon, Monster in the Black Lagoon. And then he goes, I didn't even like the movie. I just like collecting this stuff. Because the movie is only watchable if you're a little kid.
Yeah.
I do not understand. I need stuff.
My parents were hoarders. And I realized that after they passed away to get everything out of the house, they had boxes and boxes of old bills and old pay stubs from like 30 years ago. But like, we need to keep these pay stubs for our records, but they're 30 years later.
Paper hoarding is I think it's like the most common one where it's like anything mail that has my address on it. People get very weird about that stuff and they start to just let it stack up.
A lot of times though, you're like, if I have to go back and prove that this is my, like, there are people that it's almost like being worried about the government.
Yeah.
Where you're like, I have to prove that there's no reason that I should be in trouble.
Right.
Let me go back and get this. You know who is a hoarder? Gilbert Godfrey.
Really?
Mm-hmm. Gilbert has so many small shampoos, soaps, all that stuff.
Oh yeah, you told me he likes the single serving things.
It's not so much that he likes it, but he's like, oh, this is something that we need. So his wife has these things, these fucking bags and boxes stuffed under every bed in the house because they got this beautiful, $3 million fucking New York apartment. And then you go under the bed and there's baby soaps, baby shampoos.
That is so strange.
It's not uncommon.
Yeah.
It's not uncommon.
I definitely don't have the hoarder mentality about me at all.
The only thing I do like, because you can't find it much in real life, is the bumpy soap that you get in some hotels.
Oh, yeah.
Nice.
It kind of like...
Hampton's Inn has it. It has like little bumps on it. And you can it feels like you're scratching your back while you're soaping up. I don't know why that's not sold on the streets. It seems like it should be. I'll give you like this. You holding any bumpy soap. But I would much rather throw out things than I would keep them.
Yeah, I'm the same way. I'm happy to like go through my closet and go, oh shit, it's been a while since I've gone through this, and then get rid of a bunch of shit.
I always think of this when I look at fucking clothes. Imagine if you were in 12th grade and you were still wearing stuff from 9th grade. You'd feel like a fucking maniac.
You'd feel crazy.
And yet now, I'll put on anything from 5 years ago. I'm like, what do I fucking care?
Easily. Yeah, it is strange that like you hit an age where you're like, somebody's like, oh, that's a nice jacket. When did you get that? And you're like, oh, probably about, and then you think about it, you're like, 16 years ago.
Yeah.
You're like, wait, that's how long I've been wearing this shit?
I've been wearing my winter coat a long time. It's very comfortable. And if I went out and got a winter coat, it would look just like the one that I have now. There's like nothing else I want.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, I don't want to look like I'm fucking mountain climbing in a coat.
Right.
When I see people wearing stuff like that, I'm like, well, this isn't the environment. This is an urban environment. I'm either going to wear a long trench coat or a pea coat. Either one. So what am I going to do? Get another one?
Yeah, the coat I have now, it's like starting to lose its fluff because it's like one of those kind of bubble coats, like a long winter bubble coat. And I'm like, I think that I need to just commit and buy another one. But the last 2 years it wasn't cold enough for me to do it. So it was very hard to justify spending money on something that you're like,
yeah,
I'll wear these a couple days.
Winter now is dropping into, you put on your winter coat 3 to 4 months now, tops.
Yeah.
It used to seem like it was a 6-month run.
Yeah, it used to feel so depressing when you would take it out of the closet and be like, well, now I know what I'm wearing for months on end. Because you just stay in
You
the
might as well
same-
just wrap yourself in a blanket. Why have you walked around with a big fucking army blanket on? Would you be considered horrific?
That is sad.
And a coat is nothing more than a blanket with buttons. Do you have any blankets with buttons? I want it to be as baggy and loose fitting as possible.
There's a poncho.
Oh boy. She's got the tough job of telling everybody that this is all good for Trump.
Yeah, I can see. I don't even have to hear it. I can see in her furrowed brow.
She does have a furrowed brow.
She's not enjoying this experience. Seems very stressful for her.
I honestly believe that when 11 grows up, she's going to look just like that. I don't see all the people talking about Stranger Things 2 like it's a big deal, Gail. I don't think this was a successful second season.
I don't know if it's going to be a successful second season, but I feel like I couldn't avoid every time. I couldn't go anywhere on the internet without seeing something related to it, and had 2 things spoiled for me.
2 big things?
One big thing, one was small enough that it was like vague, but it still was kind of making reference to, I'll say, the tone of the ending.
Did they bring away the fact that Danny Bonaducci was in it this year, reprising his role from the Partridge Family?
No.
Come on, world, it's a song that we're singing. You watched it all, Chris?
I watched the entire series. Letter grade? F.
Whoa!
I gave C+, and I thought I was being maybe a little
C+
rough.
sounds terrible to me.
Yeah.
There was one thing I liked. It was, I'll just say, very vague, an introduction of a new character who I enjoyed. I don't think everyone else did, but I enjoyed very much. But I think as a season, it was a failure. And I feel, I don't want to give everything away, it's just a bridge season because they already signed on for 3 and 4 and they're shooting them back to back.
Yeah, I don't care. I don't care if you give anything away or whatever. First of all, it's a children's show. You know what I mean? It always was a kid's show. It never was for adults.
Yeah.
So I think people that watched 80s movies were a little nostalgic about it. But this is the thing, and this happens with a lot of shows. You're having fun when you watch it, but then by the time you get to it, you're like, oh, that was it?
Yeah,
You just made
it's
up this
hard.
underworld?
It's hard with all the expectations because I think the first one kind of caught everyone off guard, and so you didn't have any expectations of what it was going to be like. But then you set these characters up where people remember them from the last season. They want things for them. They want growth in this way. They want change. They want something.
And then they don't want to change at all. You know what I mean? They want to keep the same feeling.
Although the things that they did that were new and different were some of my least favorite things, and that's Like, I don't know if that's just me being like, I want it to be like the first one that I enjoyed so much.
Why be
But there
rough
was,
on
like-
yourself? They're the ones that stink.
Yeah.
But there were elements of it that there's no way that it's an F, because there are certain elements of it that I thought were pretty exceptional.
He just gave it an F. It's a failing grade.
It's not a failing grade.
They failed in what they set out to do.
Doesn't pass the school, Chris.
But here's the thing,
I hate
Chris.
the school, Chris.
Hey, you know what? Some people go, it's not Ivy League, but it's a place to get an education and it's affordable.
Thank you.
It is hard to defend horror, though. You know what I mean? Like, if you enjoy a horror movie, you can't tell people it's a good film.
Right.
It's hard
'cause
for
you
everybody.
like the genre. Because you're just having fun with being in the genre.
Yes, the whole point is, like, could you ever call a haunted house like a great work of art? No.
Right.
But did it do all the things it set out to do? Yes.
Right. You
So-
could say the same about like romantic comedies. You're like, you could like romantic comedies. You could like, oh, I just want to go home and put on.
Right. But let's stay with horror since it's the time of the year. There are, like, I would say, people say, what's the greatest horror movie of all time? I'd say The Exorcist. Why? Because I saw it when I was young enough to get the shit scared out of me.
Yeah.
That's the only thing in the world. So even when you talk to people and they love horror, they can't put their finger on, like, I'll say to people, why does it feel good to be scared? They just did an article on this the other day. Because horror is the number one genre of movie right now. It's replaced everything else. It's certainly the way to make the most money. And horror is having its biggest year. So they went to figure it out. And they thought, because the news is so bad, that people would rather do this because they feel some control over it. They can watch a horror and it has a beginning, middle, and end. I don't see horror as escapism because times are bad. That would mean that comedy was doing well, you know, which it's not. No one will go to a comedy movie these days. They're going like this. Fuck comedy. No one got stabbed in it. I went to an entire movie. No one's head was cut off the entire time I was there. So I don't know why people like horror. And I don't know how you take the time to say something was great horror and something was bad horror. I tend to pick horror. I'm actually harder on horror movies in terms of logic than anything else. The other night, I couldn't get to sleep, so I finally got around to watching Split. Yeah, you're engaged the whole time. You're engaged from the beginning to end. But at the end, if someone said to me, was that a good movie? I'd be like, no, not really. You know what I mean? But I did want that girl to get the fuck out of Split's house.
Yeah.
Get the fuck out of Split's house. I spent 2 hours. I don't know who that little girl was, but she could be a big star. I mean, she had nothing to do. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
There was the smallest little movements, but that kid was fucking great.
Yeah, I didn't see it, but I heard that it was super good. Has she been in anything else,
I
the
don't
kid?
know. I'm sure other horror movies. But you haven't seen Split, right?
No.
I wouldn't recommend it to you. And yet, I can't say that I wasn't engaged beginning to end. That's what I'm saying about the first season of Stranger Things. You're engaged beginning to end.
Yeah.
But then if someone says, what was it about? You're like, I don't know, some shit about the upside down world. I don't know.
I don't know, maybe it had something to do with nostalgia, but I really did think that the first season was great. That's why I think this season, I maybe had my standards too high. But it kind of just took me by surprise, I think.
Yeah, I really enjoyed the first season too, and because I found out about it on a Sunday, the first season. I watched the whole thing. This season, there's 9 episodes, and 1 episode you can completely cut out the entire series.
I will agree with Chris. And there is a particular episode that I would say is a big part of why we're getting a C+ on this thing. Like, it made me pretty annoyed.
It's helping to get an F because they take a year to make a series, and 1 entire hour of the series is totally forgettable, and there was no point to making it.
Oh, look. Okay, so this girl from Split is in The Witch. which that was like a big horror movie from like a year or two ago.
Was she the main character?
She was a main character, and she was great in that. And that
kid's great. Then if me and you saw her in two different things, and I remember watching Split, going like this. I don't even understand why this kid is like. I don't know, like she could do that little thing of like looking freaked out but without screaming.
Yeah.
Or looking like so brokenhearted and just like little tears. And I'm like, this fucking kid's great. But Split himself, I don't think I'm ruining anything because it's 7 years ago it came out. He's got split personalities. One of the personalities is a little kid. And all I kept thinking is, this seems like a Norton character. And he even looked like Jimmy Norton doing it. It was like one of Jimmy's sweeter, you know what I mean? Like, you know how there's a sweetness to some of Jimmy's characters? Yes. And all I could think of that doing Split. I'm like, is one of his characters Norton?
She was also in Morgan, which was a bad movie, but she was good in it. The actress was
so you know who she is too then?
Yeah. I saw Split also. She was great.
Morgan
was a movie about a woman who gets who's turned into an assassin, but it's really bad. Like she's not Morgan. I think Morgan is one of the Rooney Mara girls.
And what's Barry? That's about Obama?
Yeah, it looks like it's from 2016.
She played Obama.
Wow, she's really good.
Holy shit, she's very versatile.
Jen, do you got any dish on this kid?
I don't. I don't have. Yeah, she's like an up and coming. She looks just like Kendall Jenner, though. When I saw the movie, I thought it was Kendall at first.
Oh, I can see
She
that.
got Kendall vibes.
Maybe that's also like what you look like these days. You know what I mean? Like that's the look of 17.
She was in The Witch, and The Witch was one of those movies where it's a horror movie. I kind of got forced to see it and then thought, okay, this is a legitimately good horror movie.
Chris, see where that's streaming.
Fine.
And let them know that I have Hulu now.
Got it.
And see if Horace and Pete is still on Hulu.
Checking.
Jeez, it takes so long to get these things.
I'm just checking straight through
I've got
Hulu.
the slowest Google ever, Chris Stanley. What if I could just put Chris's name into my thing as Chris? And it would be him.
Yes, he was Siri?
Yeah.
You know what I noticed? So yesterday I was doing my makeup, but wanting to text someone.
Yeah.
So I had Siri do it for me. I normally don't use Siri, but this was a circumstance. My hands were busy. And I realized that when I'm texting someone, I give the inflection to my voice as though I'm actually speaking to this person. And I didn't realize. So I would be like, Siri, text mom, what time should I meet you? Like I was actually like giving it like, okay, and what restaurant should it be?
Looks like The Witch is available on Amazon Prime.
I have that, Chris.
Yes.
Looks like you're in luck.
And Horace and Pete?
Horace and Pete is not. I'm still checking on that.
Because I know they were on Hulu before, but I don't know if they still are.
Horace
I
and
think
Pete,
it is still on.
Still on Hulu.
Are you sure?
Yes, I'm logged into Hulu right now.
I'm logged into Hulu.
What does that mean?
Okay, I heard you say I'm logged into Hulu right now. So good. Now you've got your Prime. You're gonna go see your.
Well,
Split
maybe
Girl.
I'll watch another. Maybe I'll watch. Well, I've already seen Split. Okay, I'm not going to watch it.
No,
again.
Split Girl. I said the girl from Split.
I'll watch The Witch. You know, it's all part of the Halloween fun.
Yeah.
You know, I'm trying to get into the spirit of this.
And don't even bother with Stranger Things season 2.
No, I'm going to watch it.
Of course he is.
I have nothing but time to kill. I just recently finished over the weekend. I finished my I fucking forget the name of it, but it's the FBI agents who find
Mindhunters?
Thank you. But here's what happened to me. My life is sailing along, and I'm binge watching Mindhunters and I'm watching it. And then Gail's aunt came and stayed at my place. Threw me off for like a week and a half. This is how hard it is to keep up with your TV viewing. It's one of the reasons why I haven't seen Stranger Things.
Yeah. And then Stranger Things took up my whole weekend. And then I got to hear stuff like, oh, the new Joan Didion documentary. And I'm like, God damn it.
I didn't have time to see that.
I can't keep up.
Did you find out if we can get Griffin?
Working on it.
Working in it.
Working in it?
Everybody's working in the weekend.
And I'm allotted to Hulu.
Love it.
I'm allotted to Hulu, Ron. Do not worry about it. We finished up the first season of The Deuce last night.
Yeah, I recorded, so I didn't see the last episode.
Why would they kill off a fucking major character like that?
Did they kill off a major character?
Yeah. And I am not ashamed to say I cried like a BB. I cried like a little BB in my mother's arms. What else was... Oh, Curb killed off a major character.
What?
Oh, God.
I recorded
Here's
that as
where we
well.
are with Curb right
Oh,
now.
my God.
And when you watch it, you'll know exactly what I'm talking about. There is no fucking time in between where Larry's having an uncomfortable minutia conversation with someone. Like he fights with someone, and then he's done with them, and he walks over and fights with another person.
Yes.
And then he walks over and fights with another person. There's no kind of story that holds us together.
He doesn't get downtime.
Well, when he was married, he was in something, you know? Now he doesn't even care that his ex-wife's with Ted Danson. You know what I mean? He was just like, let me ask you guys something. Is it okay to ever put a golf club in upside down? There's Hoda. I was just reading about her bad ratings at today's show.
Oh,
All
really?
being blamed on Megyn Kelly.
That's a shame.
It's going to bring everybody down right now. The whole fucking early NBC programming guide. All because somebody wanted to bring Megyn Kelly over. Who's going to win the Super Bowl, Chris?
The New England Patriots. They're going to go back to back.
That would make them the team of 2 straight decades. That's something that's never happened before.
I know.
In the history of professional football.
I know.
But I do want a team of the decade. I hate when we don't. I just feel like it should be 4, too. I just hate 3 makes you the team of the decade. Makes you fucking Cowboys of the 90s, if anything.
Ew. There's nothing else left for this decade. I mean, the Patriots are our only hope.
Well, I didn't know we had a hope for that. I think we need to break again here, guys. This is the Bennington Show on a Monday. Only 2 days left in October. Then we're 3 weeks away from where people will start and say Merry Christmas to you.
I've already seen 2 commercials.
Is that
for
right?
Christmas. And I am not happy about it. 2 commercials. One of them was, I think, playing yesterday during the game, I think is when I saw it. But it was for, I want to say like, I don't know, like one of those like, I don't want to say Radio Shack, but what are like the new ones
Best
like
Buy?
that? Like Best Buy, exactly. And it was like, have your Christmas ready. And I'm like, no, not yet.
I'm going just the opposite. I'm going to dive into it this year.
You're going to fully
I don't want to
embrace-
spend the rest of the year aggravated. So I'm just going to go along with it.
So you're going to be Christmassy this year.
Mm-hmm. Just like the same way that I would if they start to find communists in my neighborhood. I'm just going to go like, let's get the communists. I want to go with the flow and not fight the river.
Well, I heard that we will be able to say Merry Christmas this year.
Finally.
The shackles I've been wearing.
If anyone says happy holidays to me, I'll go happy libtards.
That's good. You know, there is a brand new phrase that is the alt-right's new slang.
And what is it?
So your libtard is out. Cuck
Oh, it is?
is done, which sucks because I was enjoying cuck. I think we all were still cuck.
It did burn out. Burn out by the time Chris jumped on it and started to push the shirts.
But now the new one is soy boys.
What? I've never heard this.
So this is brand new, and soy boy is kind of mostly meaning because soy products are said to have more estrogen, and therefore, like, there's people think that they're going to make you more feminine because soy has estrogen or something like that, or promotes estrogen in your body. So the term is soy boy if you are I don't know if you have any feminist leanings, if you're a man with feminist leaning, if you're left wing, if you are not racist. Soy boy is the new cut.
Now, do you notice that you and Jen are surrounded by three very masculine guys?
Yeah.
Like me, Chris, and Vito don't seem like we have the slightest femininity about us.
True. Yeah.
Why do you think that is? Who is somebody that we think of as kind of feminine? Or at least has the feminine connection?
Trying to think if there's someone that we know here that I would say like would be like on the border of that. But you guys don't have any of that where I would say like he's a guy, but he's kind of into this thing that most girls
we're
are.
all three too sloppy.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know if we have anybody that fits the soy boy criteria.
Yeah. But the idea is that your politics could even make you seem like a soy boy because in some ways you would be leaning towards, I don't know, wanting rights for women or something would make you.
But that's also all three of us.
Yes.
All three of us do go that way. Vito less than others, but he's actually
learning.
the most empathetic out of the three of us.
He is empathetic, and I would say
But he's also manipulative. Vito, the things that he acts like he's friends with women, he's still slow playing. Like, I believe that he could even be slow playing Jen.
No.
Yeah.
Are you slow playing Jen?
No, I'm not slow playing Jen. Jen's just my good friend Jen from work.
Like, I will say this. All three of you very masculine. But if me and Jen wanted to talk about something that was girly, like makeup, I know that if Vito was in the room, I wouldn't think like we're boring the fuck out of Vito. I think he would just say, okay. But I definitely wouldn't have that conversation in front of you or Chris.
But here's the thing about Chris that makes me think that he's a little bit soy boy. Out of the three guys, Chris has no chest hair.
Nope.
The rest of us
You're
has
right.
very masculine chest hair.
Yeah, your chest
You got a
is
small
just,
patch.
and
You should just shave because that's disgusting.
It's also like too low to really even be chest hair because it's not.
It's upper belly hair.
It's like upper belly titty hair.
Yeah, that's yeah, it's like lower titty, upper belly.
It's very soy. I just thought I could be a soy boy because I like Chinese food, but I have no chest hair or leg
you
hair.
don't order soy.
Soy
what do you
sauce.
get when you get Chinese food?
I'll get let's see, I'll get usually like a General Tso's chicken, and I'll get
Basic
some,
bitch.
Yeah, I'm a basic.
That is basic.
But I
bitch.
still wonton soup, an egg roll, but I'll put soy sauce on it.
But that's the most basic, and that's kind of a guy's guy. You know what I mean? He doesn't think to do anything with his palate.
Right.
All right, give me another wire story. Let's keep it moving.
All right, so Americans are falling out of love with Budweiser.
Probably since the 70s.
They're saying that their sales are lowest, their stocks are dropping, and of course, it's being blamed on the local brewery, the darker interest in darker beers, small batch brewery types.
But let's suppose that this is the biggest problem in the world. That Budweiser is a beer that no beer would have ever been able to take down from the top tier, right?
Mm-hmm.
And no beer has. But they've been stung by these little bees all over the place. Like,
Right.
how are they supposed to compete where in New York there's 15 beers after them, and in Seattle there's 15 different beers closing in on them, and in Chicago there's 15 different beers? Like, there's nothing you can do. And it's almost the same thing that could be said for any television show. It's not that anybody is beating the nightly news. It's just that people are slowly going off to another 5 million choices.
And at the risk of sounding like a soy boy, I will say that when I'm in a different town and I saw that they have Budweiser on tap, but they have something that's local, you're like, oh, cool. I want to experience what the people here are into.
But let's be honest about this. If any of these local beers were good, they would be national beers.
I don't know, because I think they're good because their quality is smaller. Like if they make less quantity, so their quality could be better.
Even if that were true, I'd be like, look, there's a San Francisco beer that's so great, I'm having it shipped out to me. You know what I mean?
Right.
And that just doesn't happen.
A few years ago, Budweiser started trying to buy some of the more local breweries and then just try to do it national. But I don't think they can do that because in my neighborhood alone, there's 6 breweries. Just in Astoria, New York, there's 6 of them, and they have marketing and they have like their own cans. It's crazy because it's just.
It isn't crazy. It's normal now. It's just a normal thing, and you act like your neighborhood alone, but the same is true of everybody. Every place that you go. And none of those people make profits. They don't really, they might just support themselves in the same way of a guy who had a bodega supported himself.
Yeah.
You know?
I noticed that Budweiser was kind of feeling the heat. Maybe this was like 2-3 years ago, because I noticed within like the same season, they had a commercial that was just like, we're not your local brew. Like, they were embracing that. They're like, we're the bros beer. We're the American beer. Like, we don't have the chocolate notes in our beer. Like, they were like calling out that kind of behavior. And then within the same season, they put out another commercial that was like, oh, you can buy like in these old school crates, and you can show up with like, you know, like the kind of almost like a milk crate, like a wooden milk crate. And it was like trying to look vintage. And they were talking about like nostalgia. And I was like, oh, like they're kind of sweating because they tried both angles there.
Right. But you have to remember when they came out, and for years they were up against 6 competitors, you know, and crushed those competitors. And still you can't look at a local brewery and say they come anywhere near Budweiser numbers.
Of course, yeah.
So, you know, it's an impossible thing to do for them. It's an impossible way to try to fucking say. But it's also impossible for NBC, and it's impossible for CBS. Everything is breaking down. Literally everything is breaking down. And the same will be true one day for the Drudge Report or Huffington Post or whatever big online. You have this run, and then you don't. Johnny Carson did 10 times what the Tonight Show does now. But you'll pick up the thing and go, oh, Jimmy Fallon won this week. You know, we're only paying attention to, you know, where we are right now. Chris, what's up?
Hey guys, Chris earlier was saying that Budweiser a few years ago was buying breweries left and right, but really now it's happening more than ever. They've really ramped it up and not slowed it down, and I think that's probably because they're scared. They're shaking in their boots. Well, craft beer's been growing by 10% every year, and that hasn't stopped.
But let me just ask you this. Is it still craft beer if Budweiser owns it? You know what I'm saying?
Well,
what is the
most
point?
Enthusiasts will say no, it's not, just because it's not independent, and most of the time they're brewing this stuff not in the original spots, but outside of places where Budweiser owns that. Nothing to do with the original spot. One example is Goose Island. Their 312 beer. First thing that happened, I think, when Bud bought out Goose Island, they started brewing in 315. So a lot of people think that's not authentic.
Yeah, I mean, that's the whole point of that. This whole point of Gail was saying, oh, it's less, you know, you have better quality because, you know, you make less, which, by the way, isn't necessarily true. It could be true. But I don't know in this case whether somebody makes a better quality beer than Budweiser, because who knows? Who knows whether Budweiser actually tastes better than Heineken, or if Coke tastes better than Pepsi, or worse than Pepsi.
Yeah.
I mean, these things are... that's why they do so much marketing, because then they know it's probably not true. Now, you said that they tried to sell them too as the big bro, you know, we're American. They haven't been an American beer in a long time.
Yeah, they moved. That was like a couple years ago. I think that they moved.
Well, I don't even know if they moved, but the headquarters is no longer St. Louis. Toby in New York. Toby, what's up?
Yeah, well, I'm in Western New York here, and I run in between there and Eastern PA, and all these little breweries. That's all they're looking to do is cash out.
Yes,
with Budweiser. But there's this one in particular grew tenfold in like 5 years, and just got swallowed up. And they're keeping it real hush hush too. So the Budweiser's being sneaky about it. Anheuser-Busch, whatever you want to call it.
Yeah, and for the reason that I said, if you're buying, something that's called Chesapeake Bay beer, you don't want to suddenly let people know that it isn't the local thing that they first thought. Now, Chris, do you drink local craft beers, or would you rather have a consistent beer?
I like consistent, like PBR. I like PBR
because it's cheap.
It's cheap, and I think it tastes good. I'm a fan of it. But I've also noticed especially one New York beer, Bronx Ale. I looked at the can one day and it said brewed in Michigan. It was brewed in Michigan. I'm like, why is this called Bronx Ale then? I'm guessing because a brewery bought them and they were like, all right, it's cheaper to brew this thing in Michigan.
Now, my friend who owns a brewery, he makes craft beer, and he actually got started because he got a piece of land. He decided that he wanted to figure out what would be the most successful crop to grow. He decided on hops because he had heard the situation was that they had passed something that certain amount to be called a local beer, you have to have X amount of local hops that were actually in.
That makes sense.
So at first it was 0. Then they passed a law, and each year it's going to go up. So it's like the next year was like 15%, and they were making it slower so that that New York crops were actually getting business from all this craft beer, that you couldn't just get it from somewhere else. So then in growing hops, then he started his own. He had so much of it, he decided to get into the game. So it's kind of weird because that whole thing just got started because he was like, well, I know craft beer is getting big, and they're gonna need hops.
Here is Sean in Alabama. Hey, what's up, Sean?
Hey, Ronnie.
Yeah.
Hey, these microbrews, you got to look at the alcohol content in some of these beers. Mostly it's 2 to 3 times what a standard Budweiser would be. And that also makes quite a bit of difference for the youngsters and those trying to get a little tipsy on it. And
is that something that Budweiser also can't compete against?
Usually, because if you once you get a taste for that microbrew and you try to drink a Bud, it tastes like horse piss.
Yeah, it tastes like water. It tastes very, very
tastes like water. And I was going to tell Hicks,
all right,
if he likes PBR, look at Hams, $2 a case cheaper.
Really? Hams? I'll take a look at it.
Hams.
Made from actual ham.
That's even better for me. I love ham. I love beer.
I saw a commercial. John Hamm did it.
And he's associated with it?
No. I would just say that. Yeah, I just think that to say Budweiser is doing less business is the same way of saying CBS is doing less business. And Major League Baseball and football, all these things that just were a couple of years ago, untouchable. Touchable. And soon we'll just have locally crafted football leagues.
Oh,
and
nice.
instead of watching the NFL, you're going to watch teams in your neighborhood, which would actually probably be a better experience.
I just like their musk, it's very authentic, very local smell.
There is, I forget what game that they play in Ireland, but it's always village against village, and guys can be celebrities there and still have to go work a regular job. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Something they play with a stick. I have no idea the name of it. I'm just going to call it Jimmy Stick. See if I didn't luck out. Just say the right thing. Here is Jeremy in Ohio.
Hey, Ron, how's it going today?
Hey.
I don't know that craft beer really has anything to do with the size of the brewery. I think it started out small, but I think it's the quality of the ingredients and the type of recipes and the different things they're doing that make it a craft beer.
Yeah, well, you can't be as hands-on if you mass produce. It's just the way of the world. You cannot be the same thing that if you've got a couple guys in their garage toying around with this. That isn't the same thing if you've got to put out 50 million fucking kegs a month. And you better be able to do that if you're Budweiser. This Bud's for you. You know what I hate more than anything else? Is Budweiser telling you not to drink and drive. That always bothers me. I hate when any liquor company tells you how to fucking drink and what to do when you drink. Just give me the fucking product. And from that point on, it's all fucking a roll of the dice. Let's go to Brandon in Arizona.
Hey, Benningtons.
Yeah.
Hey, so not too long ago, Miller Lite put out an advertisement that they're putting all their beer back into the original bottles. Well, just this weekend, I don't know if anybody else saw this commercial either, but Budweiser just decided that they're going to bring out the 1933 Prohibition stock ale that they put out before Prohibition went out, trying to revert back, kind of like Miller Lite did, to be able to get their sales back up.
Yeah, you're just not going to get your sales back up. It doesn't mean that they're not doing fantastic business. It's just that they won't do the same kind of business that they did before. Eric in New York, what's up?
Hey, guys. Ron, the game you're talking about with the stick in Ireland, it's called Hurley.
Hurley, and is that the same thing as when you're hurling it, or is that a different sport?
It's a stick, and it's got like a flat end on it, and they kind of bounce the ball on the end of it, and hit it like a baseball almost downfield.
And then what happens? Yes, it's basically just Ireland, right? And it is by far the biggest sport in Ireland.
Wow.
And outside of every school, you just see all these hurling sticks. The kids take their hurling sticks. Now, the last thing you want is a drunk Irishman carrying around something like that.
Yeah.
Eric, pretty good prize closet for you.
Yeah, Eric.
Boop, 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 doo, 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 doo. I want to get into a couple of stuff. No one reminded me of that piece I said about the guy talking about his gas OCD. It's always up to me to remember.
I should have reminded you.
I know, but since you're not a reminder guy, who can we give it to?
Let's give it to Jen.
Jen, you're going to be the new reminder person.
Okay.
This guy sent this to me. When I'm pumping gas, and this is Jesse. When I'm pumping gas, the final dollar amount needs to have some mathematical relationship with the cents. For example, if the pump stops at 24.37, I see that 24 does not really go into 37 in any obvious way. So I will top off the tank so the final total is 24.48 because 48 is 2 times 4. I will do multiples or divisors. If an exponent works out, I'll take these two. 12.13 or 25.26 are as good as consecutive numbers, as well as 12.34, which is 1, 2, 3, 4. The best is a flat out amount, i.e. $20. Totals ending in 1% are a cop out because everything is divisible by 1. Event 2 cents for an even dollar amount is a little underwhelming. But beggars can't be choosers, am I right? So numbers keep him going all the time. And we got into that OCD stuff.
Yeah. And this is exactly that stuff is when somebody who sees chaos and they want to stop discord from happening. So that's what he's seeing. He's seeing like just discord, but he'll make it work.
Yeah.
It doesn't have to be the same number every time. But if he cannot justify why those numbers go together, he's done.
Now, this conversation came up because I was talking to this young comedian, Pockets. I believe that's a nickname, Pockets. And he was explaining to me his OCDs. And I said, oh, I never met black guys with OCDs. You don't see black guys being peculiar and weird. You never see a black guy like, I got to line these things up properly. You know? I don't know why. But I'm going to bring Pockets in. Jen, you know more black guys than me. Not a lot of OCDs, or there are some?
Some of them. I mean...
Name one. Name me a famous black guy with an OCD.
A famous...
Because I could rattle off all kinds of white guys.
Right.
Famous white guys.
Yeah, it does seem to be a white person problem.
Or at least white people can't wait to tell you their OCD. Maybe
That's
black guys keep it to themselves.
They are like, maybe they'd be more aware that this would make them look really weird. I don't want to look like a nerd and tell everybody my weird number obsessions.
Now, I'm not trying to be racist in any way, but I do like to point out how people are different as well as similar. And I don't think it's racist to say black guys don't have a lot of OCD. Carla Finch said that Vito is the most soy boy. He had a video of himself swinging on a swing this weekend.
That's a soy boy act.
I don't know. Is the
Do you
enjoyment?
consider women to be big swingers, or that's just children?
I think childish things aren't soy boy. It's just feminine.
Yeah, I mean,
I didn't think so.
Yeah, I mean, that's just rude to women. You find us childish? I think you're fucking childish, dude.
He definitely is pretty childish.
I'm very childish.
You're a toy boy.
Let's go over here to Khalib. Sorry,
Hey,
guys,
Ron.
he touched the thing and everything stopped. Imagine now the typing gets to me then. I was looking up something, but everything just shut down. Khalib, what's up?
Hey, Ronnie, I'm getting ready to go to rehab for a little while, and I was wondering if maybe you had any tips. Or, for one thing, I can't smuggle my ex some radio in there. I don't think.
Yeah, I don't think you want to. I think if you're going to go to rehab, are you being forced to do it or going on your own?
I'm kind of both.
Yeah.
The
So
wife
to me,
is kind of making me.
yeah. So I mean, your life became unmanageable, right?
Sort of, yeah.
But if somebody said, "I'm going to fat camp," give me some tips of how I can get some candy or fucking ice cream bars in there. You're like, oh, you're probably not, going to do it. Why not just throw yourself into it 100%?
Yeah.
Throw yourself into it.
Yeah.
And guess what? When you get out, then you can make the decision. But wait until it all evolves before you decide whether or not you like it or not.
Right.
Just like if you were going to boot camp, you wouldn't say to yourself, hey, fighting boot camp will be a good idea for me while I'm in here. The best way to go with it is go with it. And then later when you get out, you go, you know what? I don't know if the Army's for me.
I'm going to make the best of it, I guess. Yeah. What's it going to hurt?
All right, buddy. Sounds like your attitude's right at the right spot.
I hope so.
Thanks, buddy. All right, Jen, I want you, because I saw the way you looked at me over this OCD thing. So I'm going to give you another piece. Racist or so far away from racist, it's unbelievable. That's what I want you to know. I want you to know, I want you to tell me whether I'm a tad racist or so incredibly not racist that I'm an evolved man.
Woke?
Why would you take a tiny fucking nonsensical thing as woke and put it with being so incredibly not racist that you're an evolved man? So Madden has announcers, and I play the Madden game. For 2 years, I am playing the Madden game, and a color commentator is, I think his name is Charles Davis. And he acts like, oh, I played blah, blah, blah. And then he's, say he's never played as a pro. And now he's actually doing regular stuff. So I go and look him up after 2 years, only to discover, to my chagrin, because I never pictured him as black, because he's so nerdy and he's from New Paltz.
Wait.
He's a very nerdy guy.
Black and nerdy and from New Paltz. That doesn't even sound like it makes sense. That seems like if I heard a nerdy nerdy voice telling me he's from New Paltz, 100%.
What's his name? I think his name is Charles Davis. I want you to not look at the screen.
Okay.
I'm sure Chris will find him speaking somewhere.
Okay.
Now, when you don't realize that someone is black for 2 years, is that, Jen, a little racist or so far from racist that it's unbelievable?
It might be a little.
Now, in what way? How was I supposed to pick up on it if I've never seen him?
I mean, it's just like, subconscious. racism, I would say. Like, you don't know, you know what I mean? Like,
But
I
what
just say
part would be subconscious? I was just like,
this
sounds like a nerd, even though he's a football guy. He actually said this, like my old coach used to say, laddie, if you're going to do something like that, and I would never think that somebody would call a black guy laddie.
No.
Or an American, for that matter. Can you not find him, Chris?
I'm just coming up right now.
Okay.
So maybe the idea is the reason she's saying Tad racist is because he doesn't fit into the stereotypes that maybe you're used to.
But how would I be able to pick it up then?
I don't know. You're right. I mean, there's no reason that you would.
I never saw the man. It wasn't until I saw him, I went, oh my God, that dude's black. And then I stopped playing Madden from that point.
Okay, that's racist.
No, you can't be when the whole fucking Eagles defense is black and you're praying for them. I don't think that makes you racist. I play him a little bit.
This is Charles Davis.
Fantastic. You know, we're guys that didn't work together before, and to get this opportunity to work for the Madden franchise. And by the way, get well soon, Coach. We know you just had surgery recently. Get well soon, Coach Madden, and we'll try and maintain the great standards you set for this game.
All right. Now, would you have guessed that he was black?
No, not at all. And in fact, he almost sounds like he shouldn't even do football. He almost like sounds like he'd be like into golf or something. Like, I can't explain it. He sounds very white.
By the way, here's where he lives. Orlando. Orlando. You got any more of him, Chris?
I got some more from this interview.
See if you see him saying, no, not from this interview. That one's already terrible. See if you can find something where he says laddie. So what part of that was racist? Because I'm ready to change. I don't know that someone's black, right?
Right.
Because I'm only hearing their voice.
Uh-huh.
And then I see them and they are black.
Right.
And my response should have been what? I always knew that he was black?
Just as I suspected.
Or does it not matter that he was black nor white?
I would say, well, I think a little bit because, you know, black people don't have like a certain,
Yes,
there's
they do.
Some of them, like every time I talk to someone, they always think like I'm a white girl, and then they get surprised
You're
about
only
me.
1/3 black. I mean, you're basically you're a little more black than Chris is Jewish. Now, here's the thing. Not only did I not know that Chris was Jewish, neither did Chris.
Nope. No idea.
There's nothing about him, too, like,
Yeah.
that I would think would be.
Did
Maybe
you
that's
find
my
anything?
own prejudice.
Prejudice just means to prejudge. It's not bad.
Maybe you positively prejudge someone.
Now, but let's all play into this when she's going, people talk differently. Would anyone, if we had to guess what nationality, if anybody would have said black? No one would have, right?
No,
Not one of us.
I would not have assumed that.
That would have actually been a form of racism. You know, it would have been a subtle form of racism. I'm trying to think of how many times I thought someone was black or white when they weren't. Sometimes it happens with musicians.
All right, I'm going to give you one, but I have to write it down.
Yeah.
Because I can't say it.
I'm going to give you one that I did not know was black at first, only because I saw it come back up to me. And that was question mark and the Mysterians.
Oh, yeah. He's Mexican, right?
Oh, is he?
Yeah, he's Mexican. And the whole band is Mexican-American. And they don't sound or seem like it at all.
Yeah. Here, I thought those Mexicans were black.
All right. So this is someone that, like, I've met in person.
Yeah.
But on the phone, I was like, wait, what? I would not have thought.
I can understand that. Chris, ever happened with you?
I thought Adele was black the first time I heard her.
A lot of singers get that.
Okay.
A lot of strong, and it's always a compliment. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Like Hall & Oates, when they first sent out their first album and stuff, or their first single, there wasn't any picture of them, and they sent it to black stations.
Yeah.
And black stations started playing it. They're like, here's some cat, because you're singing soul music and you're from Philly. Nobody was going to guess white.
I think the first time I heard Amy Winehouse, too, I think I might have thought that she was black as well.
Joe.
Yeah.
Yeah, what's up?
How are you guys?
Good.
All right. I just wanted to comment on this. You find out that your friend is black. You're only racist
if that offends you. If you're surprised, that's not really racist. It's just like, oh, wow, I didn't know you were black. Come on, let's go get dinner or something.
All right, well,
like
here's
that.
the thing. This might sound prejudiced, but I don't think that you can comment on race if you're in Utah. I just feel like
That's your prejudice.
Yeah, that's my own prejudice. I just feel like you're out of the debate there. If we were talking about Mormons,
Sure. I didn't realize you were Mormon. You didn't sound Mormon.
yeah. Hey, Jane in Maryland.
Yes, I just want to know, why do black people have to sound a certain way? We're from different areas, different things. We don't all sound alike.
100% true. 100. Wait, did you just say we?
We, yes.
I'm thrown off completely. I am baffled.
Exactly.
Yeah, I am baffled. Now, I always say this. This is very interesting to me, right? The Philly accent and Gail doing an impression.
We're going to go down to the store, go get a couple of Cokes,
Yeah.
then go down to the water.
Now, that is true, and everybody knows that's a Philly accent or the Boston accent, right?
Mm-hmm.
And yet, black people in those two cities do not adhere to the local accent.
No, it's very strange. They do not have a Philly accent.
In this country, black people say people either talk urban or country, right?
Yes.
Urban or country. And yet, England, I just hear the British accent that sounds like anybody else from Britain.
Yeah,
when they're black guys from Britain.
But I would say that's 100% true about, like, there's like a country and city accent.
Right.
That's very strange. Because I have a friend who I thought he was just like from the South because he's black. He has a very Southern accent, very country sounding, and he's just like a little bit from outside of Chicago. A little bit.
Yeah, but
So he's like, oh, yeah, I don't have a city accent. And I'm like, yeah, but you sound Southern.
But like, go to Memphis, and I have no idea what black guys in that area are saying. I mean,
Yeah,
it's
the accent's
really
very strong.
slow. Really, really slow. But yes, you are completely, everything that you said, Gene, is correct. And that's why.
Exactly. I used to have a British accent. I have no accent. I just don't understand. You know, if I hear one more person tell me I talk white, I'm going to hit them. I don't talk white. I talk me.
But by the way, when you do hit them, you'll seem more black than you ever had before. So that's that's great. Gene, I'm going to send you into the pretty good prize closet.
Yeah.
You made good points.
She makes great points.
Is me learning. Charles Davis is a black guy from New Paltz whose coach called him Laddie. And Court in the Bay Area.
Hey, Ron, how about initially Michael McDonald with the Doobie Brothers, because the songs were kind of more,
soul. The word that you're looking
take it
for
to the
is
street
soul.
and he's so opposite of a black guy. When I first saw the back of the album, he's a white guy with a gray beard, so it's almost a weird.
But
I thought he was a black guy before, when I initially got into that music.
He's a soul singer, and many soul singers, Van Morrison, and I brought up Hall & Oates. There finally became a thing that they're going, stop calling us blue-eyed soul. They got, I saw these guys, they're going like this. Do I have fucking blue eyes? Stop calling me blue-eyed souls. You're being racist towards, we're soul singers. This is the type of music. Now, here's the weird thing that you think about, too. A black soul singer and a white soul singer have way more in common with each other than the black soul singer and a hip hop guy would have.
100%, yeah.
And yet, it's not seen that way. Well, it will be once I'm done my book.
What's your book?
Right now, I'm calling it A New Way of Looking at Race.
Can't wait for this book.
Or I'm Here to Fix Prejudice. I think the best thing that you can do when you have a prejudice is to put it out there. It's the only way that we're going to change anything,
Just to everyone just fess up like, hey, I have this stereotype about people.
I think everybody do. I think black people would have certain prejudice about the way white people behave. Doesn't make a bad thing. It's prejudging. You prejudge a lot of things in your life. And we've seen this. Well, look, the other day, the pit bull came in here. We can't say dyke anymore. Yes, those kind of things do move along. They do move along. It wasn't always considered, and there's plenty of lesbians that call themselves dykes today.
100%. That's also another thing is like context is so important with that stuff. Like the way the word queer changed in my lifetime, it was the negative. Then it got kind of taken back, and it was like, yeah, we say that, but it's like in just actually, no, we're just going to fully embrace this word because they stepped back and went, well, what does it really mean? And it was like the idea of being different. Peculiar. And they were like, oh, I like that's actually not so bad. Like, it's not a bad thing to be.
Well, this was very funny, and I'm going to bring up because I just watched his documentary, and I'm doing the Unmasked tomorrow on Gilbert. The people sitting around saying Gilbert is kind of peculiar and odd. It's a Tell, Gaffigan, Burr. You could make the same documentary about these dudes. Like, you want to be not ordinary.
Yeah,
none of these dudes are ordinary dudes.
Yeah, you definitely don't want to do that, especially when it's like with young people. Like, you don't want to snuff out people's weirdness ever.
Yes, it's the first thing you can't even want to happen. You just want to fit in the pack when you're a kid. I got a little dish for everybody.
Ooh.
You ready for a dish?
Yeah.
Jen? You can even pick this up with details tomorrow. But the breaking news is The Weeknd and Selena Gomez are over.
Dish.
No, what a dish.
I did see over the weekend that she went to church and a brunch with Justin Bieber.
Yeah.
So.
Brunch is short for balls and lunch.
I've been doing brunch wrong, I guess.
To me, Selena Gomez has got, I don't even think of her other than a child. That's all I think.
Well, she's got such a baby face and a baby body that I think it's strange that she really became such a sex appeal.
This may surprise you. She's going to be in the new Woody Allen movie, Wonderball.
Yes.
It's about a guy who gets a ball that's great. No, it's Wonderland. Is that it?
I don't.
Wonderland,
yeah.
Wonderland?
Wonderland.
Could you picture her as the new Diane Keaton?
No.
This is why Wonder Wheel. Wonder Wheel is the name of it.
A Wonder Wheel.
Ted, Providence. Ted.
Hey, buddies. I don't think there's ever been a more confusing white person who sounds black than Dusty Springfield.
Well, to go back...
Son of a preacher man.
Yeah. Well, Dusty Springfield, again, is a soul singer. And by the way, out of everything that's ever been said, any kind of music, to be called a soul singer, I always thought was one of the best things you can be called because, you know, you're singing from the soul itself. You're singing on another level. So it's one of the nicest things you can be called, in my opinion. But just like the woman that called us from Maryland, we think people are supposed to sound a certain way.
Yeah.
To me, English black guys sound like English white guys. They sound the fucking same to me.
Yeah.
But do they to an English ear?
Oh, I'm not sure. Yeah, you're right. I'm not really sure because they seem to deal with that racial difference a lot better than we do, black and white. Like, they have their own racial issues with Indian immigrants, and that seems to have like a more tense.
Most of what you know about race relations in England come from ska, and that's a very small, close-knit community. You can't judge them all by that. Look, there's a division in England, or has been for a lot of years, where they divide up white people. Like, there were white people that were not allowed to marry other white people because there was a class system. And even in the 1960s, when suddenly people could start making money outside of their class system. So if it was like Mick Jagger or a fashion magazine guy, he wasn't exactly invited into the other white class. They found it to be disgusting that he earned his money. Filthy to them. Filthy. The only reason why he's here is he's earned it.
It's like he's touched this money instead of being pristine and having been waiting for him in another room.
My money has always been in my family. With the Badubadats. The Badubadats don't do that. This fucking earner over here with his job. Doing the job every day. Dave in New Jersey.
Yeah, hi, Ron. I don't know if you mentioned a Levon Helm. I could have sworn he was black. I was listening to a Bob Dylan, the band live album.
Yeah.
I don't know if you know that. I think it was Before the Flood when I was a big Bob Dylan fan when I was young.
Well, that is a fine album.
Yeah, and not the concert, not the DVD, that movie, but the Scorsese movie, but listen to the album as I was driving around. I thought he was black. That thing.
Well, because he had based his sound somewhat on blues and all the great blues players. I mean, it was considered black music, and then white kids started to enjoy it, started to do it, and they started to sing like the people who did it in the same way that a young white rapper started to sound like the black rappers before him.
Yeah.
You know? So there's a weird thing that's always existed that musicians are able to look past race, I think, faster than anyone else.
Yeah, because music is like the great unifier, I think.
Just there's never been anybody who's like, I want to get a couple white backup singers, though. You know, it never occurred to them, let me get a couple white people behind me, have them sing the backup. Well, this show went way too goddamn fast for me. I enjoyed being here today. It's a Monday. This week, tomorrow, we're going to have a show that I think that you're going to love. Gail and I, for years, even quite separately, have loved the stories of hell gigs. A comedian who goes into a show and it is a complete hell. And I think what's funnier than anything else, it is an art form that you do need feedback for. You could be a piano in a piano bar. No one's paying attention to you. You're like, this is nice. It's background music. That's what I'm providing. But when you're a comedian, you need the full attention and then need that laughter. Besides if you just have their attention and they're staring at you, it's horrible.
You wouldn't be happy just to look in the audience and everyone gives you a quiet thumbs up.
Yeah.
Would not feel good.
You're trying. So we've got almost 20 comedians talking about their hell gig stories. People like Brian Regan, Bill Burr,
Doug Benson, Susie Essman.
I got to tell you the great. Now I'm interrupted because I have to tell you this story. So I did 2 shows Saturday. Just having a great time at the Stand. Unbelievable shows. Artie's there. Big J's there. Jim Florentine's there. Everybody's fucking crushing. So a guy comes up to me on the street afterwards and he's like, that was really nice. I go, thank you. He goes, now, I wanted to ask you, how are you related to the Ron Bennington show on Doug Loves Movies? And it was one of my favorite fucking moments of my life.
Oh my God, I really love that.
And I said, well, I invented that little thing. He goes, but how? And I go, I just wanted to be on Doug's. I wanted to give Doug a game because I heard some other guys in Texas that had one.
That's so awesome.
Yeah.
I love that so much.
He told me he never misses one. I go, well, you missed a couple, like when I was on there.
You might have had more background if you'd come to everyone.
I don't even think I won that game. No, I didn't. Maybe you did. Did you win?
No, you won. I think you've
I've
swept
won once, right?
No, you
I've
won the last
twice.
one. Yeah,
twice.
You're undefeated right now.
No, I'm 2-1. I know I won one. I lost one. I don't think people sit around and brag about their thing. You know what I mean? What you won on that show was laughs.
Yes.
You don't want to win. Although I think to Doug, I think he wants everybody going for the win.
I think he does. He wants legitimate. He wants a good win.
I want to be back, and I want to be with Judy Gold. That's my dream. All right, so this is it for us. Wrapping this up today. What cover do we have for this final song, Vito?
I made sure to not have a cover.
No, we said you'd have a cover.
I thought that was.
Now, did you guys say make sure that you went? Did you guys hear me say that?
Yes, you said at the beginning
end
of the
with
show.
a cover, and then you agreed, right?
I thought it was a joke.
Oh, the joke was the opening. What cover do we have, though? Anyway, we'll see you all again in 1974.
Ladies and gentlemen, the evening is over. We hope you all enjoyed yourselves, and we'll see you all again in 1974. Good evening!